The Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful. Snowflakes should not view this content under any circumstances, even if supervised by a G.I. Joe, Navy SEALs, Army vet, or someone with good common sense. The views and opinions expressed, including the depictions of persons of color, corrupt politicians, white people with or without a tan, haters who have yet to brush their teeth typing angrily in the comment section with hot breath syndrome, do not reflect any official policy or position of the U.S. government. This program contains graphic language, dark comedy, unique intelligence, creativity, a high credit score, and high blood pressure when triggered. This program has also been accused of racism, violence, misogyny, mansogyny, feminism, MGTOWism, defacement of celebrities, and of course, being a bully. Welcome to Thought Crimes.
Welcome to Thought Crimes, everyone. This is your girl, Sin, and I'm here with...
Yo, this is your man, Peace Solo Prince Solomon in the building. What's going on, everybody?
What? How you say it with the DMX voice?
Here we go again.
Shout out to DMX, rest in peace.
Absolutely.
So we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking
got a
about
lot of chaos.
Mr. Brown getting it in.
Mr. Brown taking them out, taking them down.
Fighting against these mainstream bullies who have no bite.
Absolutely no bite, no fight, no nothing. Shouts out to the wonderful people that have decided to slide in with us this late evening. By the way, shouts out to Tyler Bennett, you incredible demon, you. Yes, that's right. We're gonna be discussing a black man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about some black women. We're gonna be really getting into it, folks. I know folks have been tagging us. They've been asking us. They says, guys, what do you think about KWAME Brown? Sincere Ignorance did a blackout stream where she touched on it loosely. Is that correct, Sam?
Yeah, I touched on it loosely on the blackout stream.
Whoa.
Tyler says spooky hours.
Spooky hours.
But before we really get into it, we have to give a shout out to Tabby. Can we go over to Tabby's shop, her website, her store real quick to represent the Black Queen?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that right there. Tabby's Vanity. Shouts out to Tabby's Vanity too, by the way. Hold on here real quick. Let me get it straight, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Got to get it real straight. So.
Yeah, just give us a moment. We just have to give it straight real quick. But as you can see, Tabby's website is going to have beautiful products on there for butter glosses as well. Also things for your skin to make it look smooth and not be all cracked up and ashy like some of these niggas on the mainstream airlines being ashy as fuck. So if you want to take care of that ashy issue, you better make sure you hop on over to Tabby's Vanity.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it right there. Boom. All right, y'all. There we go. Tabby's Vanity. Again, Tabby's Vanity. She has a makeup line. She has a cosmetic line. A family-ran business, too, by the way. Black family. She be there whipping that butter.
Damn, son.
Putting it out there. Charlamagne the God, if you're listening.
Need it.
You need it, Patchy.
It's also for all skin types. DJ Envy, you can use it.
All skin types. What's the other?
Light skin ashiness, dark skin ashiness.
Angela Yee.
For biracial people too.
Right, that's right. I mean, you can use it. I mean, if you are as light as DJ Envy, or if you are as dark-minded as the likes of Wesley Snipes and Kwame.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Matt Barnes, you too, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. You too. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with it. There we go, Tabby's Vanity. Y'all can go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and drop the link in it.
Yeah, I got you. I got the link.
All right, then, Sin, that's right. Double down. You know, we got to keep the rhythm.
Got to keep it going.
Keep it going. No missteps. Let's go. No awkwardness. Let's go, y'all. So anyway, so there you go, Tabby's Vanity. She's in the chat, I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yes, she is.
I'll see you with the... That's right, Tabby. With that scorpionic fire on her avatar, there will be no Scorpio slander tonight. All right, y'all know what time it is. Sin, are you ready?
I'm ready to get into this.
Are you ready, B?
I'm ready.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It has been, because, you know, you haven't had a person be able to speak this freely who's black. I mean, we've seen Ben Shapiro speak freely. Even though a lot of the straight white men complain about not being able to speak, they've had their Bill O'Reillys, they've had their pill popping, what's the fat one again? Rush Limbaugh.
He's dead now, right?
Yes, they have. Yeah. Oh, no, he is?
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh is dead again.
Oh, I don't know.
He's dead now.
You know, we've had Howard Stern. He was able to do any type of comedic skits he want, including blackface, and not suffer from it. So that's why we disagree with, you know, Joe Rogan, when he said the woke mob is after straight white males. The woke mob came after the Boondocks with fat ass Al Sharpton trying to get rid of the Boondocks. And there are a lot of black men and women who cannot freely speak no matter what their ideology is. Some people are too liberal for certain black people. They get white and blackballed. Some black people are too conservative and they get white and blackballed.
Yeah, I get it. What's in? We know it, don't we?
Yeah, we know it.
We know the education metrics.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Let's go ahead and get into the messiness, though. Let's get into it. KWAME Brown. They've been banging on them for 20 years, 2 decades, people. Think about that, 2 decades. Said, is he a bust? Said, is Tim Tebow a bust?
He a fucking scrub. Nobody's called Tebow a scrub. And here's another thing. Stephen A. Smith back in the day called this man a scrub. Now Jalen tried to defend Kwame.
Shouts out to Jalen Rose.
Yeah, Jalen Rose said, how you a scrub or a bum or a bust if you've been in the NBA for 10 years? He said, do you know how hard it is to be in the NBA for 10 years?
He wouldn't know that.
He wouldn't know.
Why would Stephen A. Smith know that?
Stephen A. Smith, big ass forehead, never been in the NBA.
All right, folks.
Never made it to the NBA.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, y'all. I want to keep the raw energy going. What Kwame Brown is doing. Let's get all of the intellectualizing Jamil Hill-isms out the way. Let's get all of the woke mob out of the way. Let's get them the fuck out of the way. This has been a long time coming.
Fucking lie!
Damn right, Ashy Flex. Now what happened here is that everybody done stepped themselves into some dog shit. Now what happened is here you have some high-minded Negroes. They got an education. They got a lesson. And the lesson is this. You black, but you not elite. Everybody that was talking got a whole card that could be pulled at any point in time. That's what I like about it. Matt Barnes, I'm not trying to be funny, but I am going to be funny because y'all know how we get down. Matt Barnes is in a situation, let's be real, folks. Outside of his story arc of him and his wife and who is it, Derek Fisher?
Yeah.
Derek Fisher. Let's give it to Derek Fisher. He was an excellent role player on the Lakers, by the way.
I mean, you
Outside of that story.
can't blame a man for going out the way he wants.
Outside. While Matt Barnes DeBarge was showing out on the court.
Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Christopher Williams ass too.
Absolutely. So here's the thing about it. So Matt Barnes, whatever reason, along with Hollywood Steven Jackson. Oh my God, Hollywood. You from Port Arthur? Nigga, I can't fuck with y'all. You been with Hollywood Steven Jackson. And for whatever reason, they decided to double team Kwame Jackson. I guess, again, as they usually say, fuck with the quiet ones.
On some Captain America and Bucky shit, trying to beat up Iron Man.
Yeah. You know, and it was a weird situation where you throw a black man under the bus to try to put a smile on the face of a white woman. Jeannie Buss didn't even care about what you did.
Yeah, she wasn't even paying attention to that. Oh yeah, you traded two slave niggas for the great white hope.
I says, why are you
Gasol? It did sounded really cool.
You're correcting her. No, you mean one. You mean one nigger. You mean one nigger. No, that wasn't a complete nigger. Right? So here's the thing about it, y'all. This is what happens when you stunt. You show your ass before the public. So Matt Barnes, we know, let's be real, folks. Matt Barnes is the laughing stock of the NBA in NBA history. Now, if we want to talk about the metrics of people and the stats and analytics and all of this other stuff on the court, you know, whether or not can LeBron James pull it off, can, that be the case, can Kobe slide through with his torn Achilles, can Kevin Durant do what he does, that's a different conversation. But nobody cares about Matt Barnes as a role player outside of what happened with Sister Gloria, Brother Derek, and his stepchildren. And it became a joke. Now, of course, there were memes, and I think when people get online, I think the memes tend to go to people's heads if it's played in light space, right? So Matt Barnes was celebrated as one of the more favorable light-skinned niggas, with the meme saying, what did he drive, 6 hours? And they said, you see this meme, it reoccurs every Black History Month.
Yeah, he was
He's the hardest light-skinned black nigga.
Right, he drove for 6 hours, jumped over a fence to try to fight Derek Fisher.
So somewhere along the way, Matt Barnes thought he was Nipsey Hussle.
I can see him thinking that.
Okay?
He did. He thought he was Nipsey Hussle.
Rest in peace to Nip Nip. But somewhere along the way, he thought he was Nipsey Hussle. And I've had shouts out to G-Ville in the chat too. Me on many occasions, me and G-Ville have talked about these alpha male slaves in the media of sports and entertainment, and it's a joke. G-Ville, We called it. Chickens came home to roost. Some athlete, we had this conversation. Some athlete is going to go on a rampage and destroy everybody. And it started ironically with two athletes. It started with Matt Barnes and it started with Stephen Hollywood Wotep Jackson. I'm sorry, y'all, but y'all know Steve Jackson is when Hollywood. Post the marching, post everything else that happened in Minnesota, he feels he is the man of the hour. Okay? So now we're at this point where the alumni, the machine reacts because Kwame Brown, because Kwame Brown still had a voice. You gotta understand, sports is different than followers of the Breakfast Club, people. Sports is different than followers of Hot 97. Sports is something different. It's a larger platform.
Right, and alternative media in sports, they don't like a lot of the mainstream pundits in sports anyway. They think they're corporate whores. Right. Many of them think that they don't give athletes a fair shot. Yeah. And many of them are smart enough to know about the racial discrepancies within the sport. You know, we know that a black football player or basketball player, tennis player, no matter how you feel about their ideology or what they say or race or don't say or race, are not given a fair share versus even a mediocre white man or woman in those said sports.
I love it, Sin. You dropping? Praises and Sin. You know, Sin, niggas kept saying, Prince, that's not what he's saying. I says, he do what I say. You see, you know me, sweetie. I really want to get into this one. This is a long time coming. And here's the thing about it. Because the athletes, the brotherhood, they broke away from the brotherhood. They threw a brother, an alumni of the NBA, an alumni brother under the bus in front of a white woman.
And he never committed a crime. That's the crazy thing.
Jeannie Buss has hired more black men than Stephen A. Jackson and Matt Nipsey Hussle Barnes.
She even forgave Magic Johnson.
Okay? So these two athletes throw another former athlete under the bus to put the smile on the face of a white woman, and she didn't even grin.
She didn't even grin. She thought it was awkward.
She's just, okay.
She's like,
okay.
Right.
Cottage cheese.
It did seem like they was trying to impress her. So, and she was like, okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Sam. Continue.
No, she was like, like you said, she didn't even care. What was the whole point of putting on that performance?
See, that's why the man said you all are tap dancing. Y'all see some black folk, right? You get in the room with them, and they try extra hard to put a smile on the face of a white person.
Here goes my mama, here goes my baby, here goes my dog.
Right?
Yeah, all that.
So, here's what's ironic about it. Now, you have these two, what I would like to call in this particular situation, traitors. Traitors of the NBA alumni. There's a written rule. There's literally an unspoken rule where you have former athletes that do not come out against current or past athletes. Because they all know, in effect, for the most part, as the rumor goes with the $40 million slave and the politics that go on with it, they know for the most part, by and large, many of them are expendable.
Right, and just like in the 2K video game, the black bodies are the highest on the auction block.
Same with the organ donor market. It's another story, though. So, I'm watching it and I'm saying, why would these two tall, privileged gangsters, because that's another thing I don't like about the energy of Matt Barnes and Stephen Hollywood Jackson now. It's one thing to, keep it real about sports and commentary and say your opinion. It's another thing when you all try to hint to we'll go street.
And they tried to shade him. That's the thing. And, we have disagreements with people all the time.
Absolutely.
Men and women both can have feminine and masculine attributes because usually we're raised by both parents. So masculine principles is about being actionary and just going through and doing something. And feminine energy is considered to be shadowy, not to be as direct, right?
Covert.
To be covert. That's what ninjas do. It's a mixture of masculinity and femininity because ninjas in history used to hide in the shadows before they killed somebody.
Young Thug.
They were trying to shade him in front of Jeannie Buss, shade him and be cute and feminine and funny. That's what they were doing. They was doing shading tactics.
It was real bitchy. And
then they got mad because Mr. Brown, he was like, yo, I peep game. Y'all trying to. So he said, you know what? Y'all gonna go with the feminine principle. I'm gonna go with the masculine principle and just outright say y'all bitches and don't talk about me.
Let's go. Let's bring it. Let's go. Come on. You know it. Y'all know it.
The hood mentality is a crippling disease.
The hood mentality is a crippling disease. And the reason why I make that statement, Matt Nipsey Hussle Barnes and Stephen Hollywood Jackson have a hood mentality. And there they go in front of a white woman who did not even care or understood the reference. So they proceed to throw Kwame Brown under the bus as if he is factually the disposable $40 million slave that has been projected in the sports arena.
They called another black man a horse. Do they even think about what they fucking said? You called him a horse. Like a horse, you know, if it's a prize horse, if the leg get broken, they put him down. They call him a horse.
Absolutely.
It's just astonishing that they didn't even think about that.
Well, that's what happens when you're an alpha slave. All the smoke
and more chewing for your head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
Looks like Mr. Brown is bringing fire and brimstone. So this is what I took from it, because I had to rewatch the clip, and I rewatched it, and I rewatched it, and I pressed play like Diddy, and I remixed it like Diddy, and I rewatched it again. And I said, why would they do this? This is the prime definition of called tap dancing. So they were mirroring pundits in the media, who many of them have not played in the NBA. Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, but he a scrub. But you know, he played 10 years. I wouldn't say he's a scrub. How can you say just because he played in the NBA for 10 years does not mean he is not a scrub? He is a scrub.
Let's go, Sam. Let's go. Praise it sincere. Now, notice it was Jalen Rose, a former what? NBA athlete.
Who had to correct him.
He said, well, wait a minute now. I've been in the NBA. You can't play in that bitch and not be a scrub. Or be a scrub. So, I agree with one aspect of Kwame Brown when he spoke specifically to this. Up and Smoke niggas, or all the Smoke tour niggas, have been smoking too damn much.
And more chewing for your head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
You know, you had Steve Jackson, a grown man, talking about he's gangster, you know how I get down. What, because you punched a bunch of drunk white boys in the stand. Had his head on, had the do-rag on, acting like Haji Cannon. And he felt like, hey man, you know how I get down. And the crazy part about it, the reason why you know this is a weird energy surrounding all this, Steve Jackson made threats first. He said, you know how I get down, you see me when you see me, as if we will commence the box in the street.
Right.
So then on the Breakfast Club Illuminati, they said, oh, dark-skinned, deep-voiced Kwame Brown is being violent. Anyway.
And they proceeded to say things on the Breakfast Club about his family that he didn't even know. And we also have a donation, Prince.
Absolutely. Shouts out to Quasha. Quasha says, I only watched Charlamagne's response to Kwame, and I am more disgusted with him for bringing up Kwame's family background on the radio. He tried to use mental health in order to deflect the issue. Like, whoa. Sin.
Round of applause.
Gotta give it to that sister.
You see it.
Quasha.
And they try to keep painting him as crazy. Y'all are fucking bullies.
Hey,
y'all are bullies. Just call it what it is. Y'all tried to bully him in this fucking retarded reverse super team. Super squad of friends, Jamil Hill, Charlamagne, The Breakfast Club, DJ Envy, All the Smoke, Stephen A. Smith. Y'all all tried to jump somebody that y'all was bullying. Now with Mikey Moore, you said, well, he wasn't a scrub. but he wasn't the best player.
Okay.
They didn't say that.
They didn't say that. They went right for the family. They went for personal stuff.
That's why they deserve to get burnt. They didn't say, he didn't live up to the expectations. We could theorize what was the reasons why. They said, as Stephen A. Smith years ago said, a scrub, a bum.
Yeah. Come on. Yes, it is. Ain't that a bitch? This was gangster about it. And I love what Quasha brought up. And I love how Sin just took that alley-oop from Quasha and she put it right in the hole. Let me tell you why this is incredible, folks. Now, we've seen Charlamagne use the platform of mental illness. Right? Oh, Malcolm McFly. Shouts out to Malcolm McFly, too. He says that's why Russ was my favorite point guard, always making Stephen A. Smith look stupid. AI didn't mess with hairline either.
Support us.
That's because Stephen A. Smith portrayed Alan Trust. He never did that to a white player, though.
Max Kellerman did it.
Just like fat ass Whitlock before he got fired, which again I don't agree with black people getting fired from freedom of speech, but he did the same thing. He never called out a white player. Ever.
No, ever. Not Roethlisberger.
No.
None of those guys. They got those charges on them. What charges? You already know.
Y'all know.
Black man taking no.
You ain't gotta send us nothing, Charlamagne. I'm gonna send it back.
Cease and desist. You say that you'll cease and desist. And look, here's the thing. It's public record. Y'all can't keep going out trying to cease and desist. And here's the thing.
Stop ceasing and desisting, nigga.
If y'all had mind your business, we could talk. Because there's some people we defend. And people say, yo, why are you defending this person? I'm like, because the audience, y'all being bullies now. Y'all can make jokes, but y'all bullying this person. This person has said nothing about black people. You think they're fat or you think they're this. Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
But not with these fools.
Come on.
They did not mind their business. They tried to put that man's personal business out there, tried to embarrass him, and thought he was a bitch to get ran over. That's what they were doing. And now that he's defending himself, whether you agree with his opinions or not about politics or gender, whatever, he is defending himself because they are the ones who attacked him first.
Well, they've been on him though. They've been on him. Yeah, they've been on him. So here's what's gangster about all of this. First of all, you have the Crips. I mean, we just call those two niggas on the All the Smoke podcast. Let's call them Crips. Two Crip niggas, Crip basketball players, the gangster basketball players, right? You know, they were like, it's a little high school moment. Because it's interesting. You didn't decide to invite Kwame Brown on the show. If I ran the Up and Smoke Tour podcast, it would be, first of all, it'd be much better. Secondly, I would have used my NBA alumni connections to invite Mr. Brown on the show. This is before getting into this point and ask him, hey man, what happened with your career?
Who they did it with? They did it with, what's the Asian guy?
Jeremy Pivens Lens.
When Jeremy Lin was able to explain or in an articulate way.
Wait, hold on, Sin.
On All the Smoke, what
Say
happened
that again? He was able to do what?
Articulate what happened with his career. None of them called him
whack,
a scrub.
They didn't call him trash.
And he was able to explain what happened in his career. And this black man,
he was able to explain his mental illness.
Right. And this black man can't even get on the show. You made fun of him and ridiculed him in front of a white woman. You was being shady and cute. And then you got mad when he fought back. We also got a couple of donations, Prince.
Also, shouts out to Black Bomb 6. Kwame Brown has that classic 70s pimp voice where every word sounds like he's finting. Oh, he's finting a pimp slap. Okay, I got you. They all deserve one, though. I agree. I agree. No, I don't play that now.
We also got one from
shouts out to Queen Vesta. Yeah, I got a pull on this tomorrow. You and B more. And she says Charla needs to cease and desist that color correction Ooh, come on.
That cream is bad for his skin. He need to go and support Tabby's Vanity
with that cancer jabs. Also, we all know what that really is, allegedly. Now, what's interesting about all of this, you all did not invite Kwame Brown on the show. You proceeded to invite him on the show. Again, Matt Nipsey Hussle Barnes proceeded to invite Kwame Brown on the show after opening by saying, "You have my dick in your mouth."
Right, and also
That's
again,
not an invite, sir.
we're saying a fake Nipsey Hussle because Nipsey Hussle was a G. We saw what Issa Rae said about him. That was a dope man.
Let's go.
But like Prince said earlier, I think Matt Barnes do look at himself as a Nipsey Hussle.
He does. That's why he sits next to the drawing.
You're not, bro. You're not.
That's why he sits next to it. Matt Barnes in his head, he really feels he's Nipsey Hussle. No, you're not, nigga. Because you're alive. All right? 1/3 of a 4th of a 6th of a nigga. So, here's the thing. I watched Matt Barnes have a response initially, and I'm the type of person, Sin knows it, I know Sin knows, we love the disagreement of the confrontation of the disagreement. We love the art of dialogue, which is a dope Tupac channel, by the way. But he says he proceeds to invite Kwame Brown to his podcast, but he also invites Kwame Brown's mouth to his dick. He also invites Kwame Brown's face to his hands.
Try to emasculate him.
Okay, so when we heard things that went on with Roethlisberger and some of these other non-black athletes, I didn't see any of that same smoke. And a lot of you athletes, and I'm not talking about some of the new babies, but a lot of you guys within that Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson territory, a lot of you all don't like to hear when people and educated people, smart, wise, and brilliant minds say, hey, you guys are acting like $40 million slaves. But then you prove their theory.
Well, that's a good point, too. And going even to your thing, of course, we love all our people, light skin, dark skin, all that, mixed, whatever. But his wife did leave him for 100% black Caribbean.
Oh, my God, Sid.
She went from 50 to 100% real love. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm sorry, Matt Barnes. You can only listen to the intro of To Pimp a Butterfly. Cut the song off.
I think actually Drake is better because at least he tries to fight back.
And more chewing for your head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
Whether he wins or lose. And he minds his business when it comes to certain issues. He's not fake woke. He actually had they showed a clip of him before when he says, if I'm going to do something to help a community, I'm just going to do it. And he kind of was saying that a lot of his peers be faking it. He's right.
And you know what's crazy about Drake? I think when we had some ridiculous number at the height of the whole Drake, we was making fun of Drake, but we was roasting him. But we got pretty raw with Drake. Didn't receive nothing.
No, we didn't. Wait, this is where I fuck with Drake. He may be crying sometimes with his peers, but we've never had any of our shows or flagged nothing from Drake when we made fun of him. There's other people in that bourgeois class we joked about, and we had got flagged or our video had a strike. Like, we've seen it. Like Charlamagne doing that cease and desist, all that other bullshit because of his own public record. Like, you can't be doing that just because people bring up Jessica Reed. That's a part. You wrote it in the book. Crack privileges.
Come on now.
So, I do appreciate those who are in their little high castles who's like, you know what? People say what they want. Whether I agree or disagree with it, I'm going to let it roll.
Or they be like, fuck them niggas.
Or they be like, fuck them niggas. I don't fuck with them. I fuck with that too.
I fuck with that.
Sick.
Just fuck you right back, but I get it. You know, and Sin, sometimes you know me. You know, we like to we're method. We can get into method acting, right?
Right.
And I think when I was looking at Steve Hollywood Jackson, and met Tupac Shakur Barnes, and I thought about it, I said, what mindset did they get into when they pulled up and had that interview with Jeannie Buss? Right? I mean,
I don't know. Their legs were crossed. They were in a bit of a Tootsie, booted up little mood they was
Can't
in.
you imagine them just hopping out the whip, Sin? Just pulling up.
We gonna make sure we look good in front of her.
Yeah, absolutely. You traded one nigga. Man. Y'all know what time it is. So, now we're gonna move on forward, right? Because those two men, those gentlemen, to me, what they did was it was traitorous. There was no reason to keep coming back on Kwame Brown. They shouldn't have jabbed him in the first place because I've never heard them do that to a white athlete that clearly was a bust, especially Jeremy Lin. In fact, what's gangster about it? And we understand that Carmelo Anthony was in the clubs fighting, and him and Lala, they got their whole Game of Thrones Puerto Rican story arc. I get it. It is what it is. But Carmelo Anthony, nonetheless, was a valuable asset.
Yeah, the Carmelo Puerto Rican Anthony was an asset. And look, I don't think Jeremy Lin was a bust either for the amount of time he was in the NBA. But he definitely wasn't living up to, the levels of the guys like the Westbrooks and stuff.
Linsanity.
So, overrated in certain moments, but, he did his job for what he did, and that was it. But because he isn't a black man, people didn't drag him for the rest of his life. He even has been able to go on platforms where he could talk about, how it is being an Asian American and being in a sport and all this other stuff, right? But when it comes to a lot of black men, a lot of the black commentators are hardcore
on other black men.
And it's just like even with the Williams sisters, when they first came out, their biggest critics was black people, calling them ugly, saying they this, and they were children, and they were getting it from black and white people, and a lot of these black people use white resources to bully other black people.
You know what's crazy about it? I know recently there have been some disturbing photos of the skin tone or the skin tonality of Serena Williams. Holler at Tabby's Vanity too, by the way. But you know what? When I saw people reposting Serena Williams' more recent photos where it looks like it appears, allegedly, that she's bleaching her skin, I said to myself, no, not from you niggas, though. Not the surprise and appall. Sin and I remember when Venus and Serena Williams were teenagers coming onto the scene. And I heard black folk talk about their hair, talk about their skin, talk about they ugly. They called them two little black girls all types of ugly.
I think even on SNL.
They had black men pretending to be the Williams sister, black men masculizing these black women, those black girls, those are young black girls, right? Mm-hmm. The same way Kevin Hart got cooked for masculating or making more of a mannish energy with that young black girl. So when I see the more recent photos of Serena Williams, I don't agree with what is going on allegedly, but I understand though.
Yeah, and the point is like, y'all need to get over disagreements with other black people. So what if she with a white man? So what if it's a black man with a white woman? If they're not doing nothing to our community, mind your fucking business.
Y'all ain't saying nothing about Steven Jackson being married to that Mexican Matt Barnes.
Right. Steven Jackson.
What's really going on?
With a white woman. No, but
son, where'd you find this?
Gabby Douglas, Samal as well, like
Simone Biles, an excellent athlete.
Right? It's like, stop like going at like, yeah. And here's the problem with our community. There are people who don't even say shit and they get abused by their own community, and it's true. It's true. It's like we can't even have
discourse,
mature conversations without just trying to fuck up somebody's life.
Yeah, because think about it like this. Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas. For me, it was a matrix glitch effect. I said, oh shit, this reminds me of Venus and Serena Williams when they were babies. Now, I know a lot of black people, because we like to put on the political coat. We like to be fake sometimes. You beat your wife's ass. You beat you stabbed your husband in the rib, your boyfriend in the rib. You ran up on him with the knife, or you beating your kid's ass. But you like to come out the house as black excellence. So black folk try to act like they never said those things about Venus and Serena Williams.
Right.
But then here we go again with Gabby and Simone.
Right. And I don't consider it bedwitching. Bedwitching is supposed to be
actually. Sam, do you mind if, I'm sorry, Queen.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I step in on this one?
Okay, go ahead.
Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes are bedwenches. That's bedwenches.
Wakanda forever.
That's bedwenches.
Right. This is why our community don't progress. It's kind of like what Ice Cube said, what he said about Trump and trying to make a deal, and then Charlamagne and the rest of them and other black people being soft and trying. This man
They tried to cancel Don Mega Cube.
Cube had a business where it was majority black people hired, and you're literally trying to take food out of the mouths of hundreds of black people just to serve your political view nutting off and being distorted. There's two reasons why a lot of our communities suffer. One is because of white supremacy and systemic racism. That's true. But the other half is because of gatekeepers and sensitive ass black people who think that opinion is more important than black people having jobs, black owned businesses and different things like that, where you can't just have I'd rather be able to go on somebody's show and be like, yo bro, I don't agree with you about this. I think what you said was this or that. But why the fuck I'm gonna take food out of other black people's mouths just because I'm sensitive about their political views or different things like that? And it's not about you having your opinion. If you said, well, I disagree with Cube, you know, I think what Trump wasn't a smart move, that's perfectly fine too. But to be so aggy where you want to have black people lose deals or this or that and try to be cute in front of white people, that's when it's like you're going too far.
Nigga, I can't fuck with y'all.
Man, and look at this, you all. We are 41 minutes in, and we are still on Matt Barnes' lace front of the fuckery.
I'm the head of the motherfucking state, nigga.
Man, I guess this might be an overdrive show.
Oh, it is. It has to be, because there's a lot to talk about. We haven't even started on the top of Charlamagne's head yet.
We ain't get to two-tone. We got to deal with this. Because, you know, for me personally, when I saw the jab, and as a sports fan, particularly with the NBA, I used to care about the NFL when I was younger, and then also with the MLB, but whatever. But specifically with the NBA, if you all have been paying attention, you know how they've drugged Kwame Brown.
Drug him into...
And I think they were comfortable because I personally think there was a racialized perception of this tall black man, this big black man, as a mute, dumb nigger brute.
Yes.
So I think they felt comfortable knowing or feeling like, well, we've never heard him speak, so we're going to keep on putting lashes on his back.
Because he was humble and he went to work, and they thought he was an easy kill shot. That's what they thought. And also, just to bring up Strategy King real quick. Yeah, we joked on you and stuff like that. And most of the time, you know, we've been right in our debates between you. But we gave you your props on Kanye.
Let's go ahead and give it to him.
We said you was right.
Let's give it to the industry insider.
Before, Kanye got a divorce with Kim, you said he was going to divorce, and you talked about his money.
Hot coffee pot.
And we gave you, your roses yesterday as well. And you know why we was able to reach to that, because we didn't block you on your opinion. Yeah. That's the whole point of what we were talking about with allowing different people to be able, different black people to be able to freely speak. Now, that doesn't mean that only one type of black person talk. Yes. Just like the audience have the right to respond to us on our views, and we have the right to respond back, and we can get this dialogue started. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. We're not talking about what a lot of these industry gatekeepers do, where they try to prevent other black people from eating. And unfortunately, with some of the woke crowd, like what Al Sharpton tried to do when he tried to destroy a black animation of creators of the Boondocks.
Shouts out to Carl Jones.
And try to destroy black people from eating.
Absolutely. And in honor of King Strategy King, player, this one's for you.
Whoopie dee scoop. Scoop dee dee whoop.
Strategy King. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's hot. Kanye, let me hear that again.
Whoopie dee scoop.
Oh shit.
Scoop dee dee whoop.
Wow.
Wow.
You have to understand what took place is the epitome of field niggas and house niggas. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to it, but I understand the context of it. Steve Jackson and Matt Barnes, to be honest with you, outside of their podcasts and the few of the situations that they've had, they're extremely lucky to even be talked about today. And what they did in front of Jeannie Buss, what I think, it's about your energy. The energy I saw, like I said, knows me. I told her, I fuck with Steve Jackson. Especially his commentary. She knows I fuck with the Southerner.
Oh yeah, when Steve Jackson was just speaking the truth and stuff like that, you know, I never had it, but now he's become Hollywood.
The energy was off in front of Jeannie Buss.
Yeah, his energy just didn't seem normal.
Weak.
Yeah,
it just seemed weak.
Like I need to behave or some shit like that.
Did this make you laugh?
You
Did
know?
that make you laugh?
And I'll be fair to Steven Jackson on one thing. You know, I like the fact that he defended his association with Farrakhan because I feel like everybody has a right to have an opinion. You know, I'm not religious or a Muslim, and Prince isn't a Muslim or whatever either, but I do respect that about him. But there is some fishiness going on as of recent time.
Hey man, you was moving like a sidewinder snake in front of Miss Jeannie Buss. I gotta put that out there because I honestly know Matt Barnes is a quack. You know how I get down. You know, nigga, what happens if you get into a fight and a nigga shoot you in the knee? They just gonna roll your big ass off the farm like every other horse with a broken leg. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I never liked. I never liked seeing athletes talking about they street, they this, they that, and they know damn well they cannot sustain injuries like normal citizens because it fucks up their money and their career.
Yeah, G-Vel and Prince actually a year ago was talking about this behind the scenes on the phone, talking about how, you know, they personally felt that Steven and them were becoming fake. I mean, Matt always been fake, but Steven Jackson was becoming fake. Yeah. And sadly, a year from now, it came into fruition.
Yeah, we did. We talked about this. They acted weird on that podcast. And every few quips and clips is, yeah, because y'all know how we get down. We could take it to the streets. And what? Tall niggas? So they're, in effect, they felt comfortable with throwing, as they perceive subconsciously, another $40 million slave under the bus.
Also, about burner account, when you say Joe Budden should pay Mr. Brown for taking the spotlight off of Joe, well, in the grand scheme of things, a hierarchy, you know.
Why?
I do think that somebody messing with underage children is something to be more talked about. And I'm actually happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy because with Joe, you can spank Joe and say you're being a fucking idiot. You could touch Joe. The audience can touch him and say, Joe, you being fake. Yeah. You being industry. Mm-hmm. You have an ugly ass leopard scarf. You don't dress well, Nick Tino. It just looks stupid, right? The audience can touch Joe. But the super friends of gatekeepers were acting as if they were in an area where they can't be touched, which is Charlamagne and all the smoke and this
Jamil Hill, Stephen A. Smith, Chris, Louisiana Purchase, Broussard. What's the other one? Not Smush Parker, but is it Ray Parker? What's the old nasty looking old black man? The one that co-hosts with Broussard.
Oh, I can't remember that old one.
It looks like he smells like heat liniment. So it's an old nigga.
Bad press during the summer over allegations.
Whoa, say that again, Drizzy.
Bad press during the summer over allegations.
We always tell you right around this time, it's prime time. No Deion Sanders. Some of your favorite people do not make it to the summer.
Bad press during the summer over allegations.
Industry Insider Strategy King will be fair and share this news. Since you've been right so far on Kanye news, we will trust you from this point on when it comes to Kanye information. So he says Kanye was paid for George Floyd's daughter college education. Steve Hen Jackson was too much of a coward to publicly thank Kanye West.
What do you mean?
What?
I'm not surprised.
What the hell are you saying? Wait a minute. I gotta pause the music on that one. Strategy King, man, let's talk. So you mean to tell me now, again, Steve Hollywood Jackson had that baby on his shoulders, George Floyd's daughter on his shoulders, saying, you my daughter now. You is with me. You is special. You is brilliant. And you is beautiful. Kanye West comes out the gate, say, hey, Big Bang Hank about to drop some change on this.
I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
And you couldn't give Kanye at least a fucking head nod publicly. That tells you are controlled opposition.
I agree. If somebody who whatever, if they helped me with a loved one or my kid coming there, no matter their political views, I would look at them differently and I would give them that credit. I'd be like, you know what, maybe I was wrong about this guy. You know, yeah, I'll say this publicly. Yeah, he did help me out. So it do show you how
they're controlled.
There you go.
Because you got to understand, when we talk about this, we're talking about a particular left-thinking corporate establishment mindset. So that means Steve Jackson was not to get out of line. But think about that. Hold on, Sam. We gotta say that again. So let me get this straight. Steve Jackson can basically throw, for the public, at the time, a politically neutral, quiet, non-controversial, outside of the realm of sport, Kwame Brown under the bus. Right? He can throw that black man under the bus who hasn't been bothering anybody, had not been accused of rape, had not been seen beating on women all day, hadn't been falling out of the club with guns in his bag and shit like Gilbert Arenas. Look at all of you ignorant niggas in that on that podcast. All of you niggas with pretend thug, Gilbert Arenas, the gun, Matt Barnes hopping over fences, right? Steve Jackson punching drunk fat white boys in the stand. Get the fuck out of here. But you could not say, hey, Kanye. I think Kanye did a brilliant thing by paying for George Floyd's daughter's possible future. You couldn't say, hey, you couldn't even create intelligent dialogue by even inviting Kanye on your show.
Yeah, Swiss Beats said politically he disagreed with Kanye West, but when Kanye West came and did the music for DMX's funeral, he praised him. He said, you know, Kanye was a real dude. He looked out for us. And, you know, he did beautiful music for DMX's funeral. If you're going to talk about the bad, you got to talk about the good as well.
Steve Jackson is a scary nigga. You should know better, Steve.
All the real shit you didn't kick. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas. I'm a real nigga. Y'all know how I get. I'm a real motherfucking nigga. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing on me. Ain't nobody gonna do that, nigga. And you can't even be a detractor. You can't even have independent thought. Now you that scary.
And a lot of these niggas are scary. That's why, look, it's like, I appreciate Mr. Brown because it's like, do you understand how many of the alternative black media have been censored not only by the white side but also by the black owl of things who are using white resources? Like, we had a Minister Flint animation. We showed it on our Patreon where
that was a brilliant.
It was funny. We was making fun of the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys came and flagged our video and YouTube complied. And we got a strike with something that didn't have no cursing and followed the TOS, but for whatever reason, and it was comedy, a pure comedy, and it got flagged. You know, and it really is disturbing and disgusting. You got Logan filming people in a Japanese forest committing suicide.
Still getting at them deals.
You got people a part of the so-called Black Boule, or whatever you call them, who do anything and say anything about anybody, and this shit never get taken down.
Well, I tell you this. Kwame Brown is karma. And it would be a dark-skinned man from Georgia. Speaking about his mama, too. I'll tell you something else, too.
Mama's cooking.
If we're talking about toxic femininity, Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson are toxic femininity.
They are.
Okay, they are.
They're right. Toxic masculinity or femininity can be held in either gender, and obviously Steven and DeBarge definitely have toxic femininity.
Toxic femininity. Now, isn't it ironic that this man who basically exudes masculine energy, right? But who is he celebrating while he's whooping ass? My mama's cooking. Ain't that ironic? Because some of you niggas forgot what this shit was about.
He's alchemizing masculine and feminine principles when it comes to him speaking out in a really good way. He knows how to switch up tempos. Actually, he's a better podcaster than
that's sleepy shit.
Than sleepy ass Breakfast Club and all the smoke.
I'm the head of the
motherfucking state, nigga.
And the reason why I say what I say, because the reason why I feel Steve Jackson, I do not care about DeBarge Barnes. I do not. As far as I'm concerned, he has been excommunicated from the black community. They don't know what he is. Okay, his whole energy is weird. It's very weird. I'm a real nigga, but then I tap dance in front of white folks, but I'm pro-black, but then it's this all this other stuff. So it's too much for me. But with Steve Jackson, though, you done win Hollywood. And this man got to remind you niggas, you tall niggas, about their mama's cooking. Because one thing Kwame Brown said that I thought was very interesting. As most successful young black boys, when they get their hands on certain types of deal, the first thing they say is, I want to buy a house for my black mama.
They all say that. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, no matter who they are, most of them say, I want to buy a house for my mama.
And you niggas done went Hollywood with all this shit. You done bought houses for your strippers. You done bought houses for your side broads.
And some males.
Some side men, side male pieces.
Some side niggas too for some of them.
Y'all done bought houses with hush money. And y'all forgot what this was really about.
The people. Also, I want to give a shout out to Anderson. Jay mentioned that Mark Jackson gave a shout out to Mama's Cooking. And what I love about Mr. Brown is the alternative media, for the most part, support him because we have not been able to speak freely. And it hasn't just been because of the biases of white people. That's 50% of it. The other 50% has been gatekeepers who are black, who've been using white resources and money to try to shut up other black people. So to see all groups supporting Mr. Brown to be able to speak freely,
let's talk about it,
is refreshing.
Because every man and woman in America growing up, especially if you have been growing up in functional poverty, you all have envisioned you buying your mama a house. Tupac came out of jail and he told Suge Knight, first of all, I want to buy my mama a house. Every time you see a little NBA nigga get up on that screen, I can buy my mama a house. If you see a little WNBA black girl on the screen, I want to buy stuff for my family. I want to help my mama. Whether you like Megan Thee Stallion or not, what did she cry about? Her mama wasn't able to enjoy the damn success. Strategy King bring up Kanye West. Kanye West always rapped about mama. And these two knuckleheaded niggas forgot about what it was. So I'm all for it. I love it. Because you have all of those young boys in the NBA being excessively judged, hyper criticized.
Yeah, it's right. It's not just about basketball. Some of them are very vicious with it, where you could tell it's more than basketball. Because is Aisha Curry annoying? Yeah, but some people's wives are annoying. Some people's husbands are annoying. Whatever.
Shouts out to our Canadians.
I never forgot when Stephen A. Smith said Aisha Curry is not that attractive, or that LeBron's wife is better looking. Now,
why are you doing that?
For people who are regular, who do comparisons of women, whatever, that's your business, whatever. Or comparison of men, that's your business. But you, nigga, is on a professional fucking platform, and you shitting on people's wives now. Now I understand people felt that Aisha's statement about the NBA being rigged was dumb. But the way Stephen A. Smith talked about it, it's kind of like he was being the lapdog of the NBA. And not even for LeBron. It was really because Aisha said the NBA was rigged, and Stephen A. Smith had to make sure he protect his the people who's giving him the bread.
Same.
But he didn't have to do it like that. Like, he's adding that extra sauce to impress white people. Because he could have simply said, Aisha Curry, your comments are stupid. I don't believe the NBA is rigged. You need to, fall back a little bit. You're getting too much in the way of your husband's profession. It would be like if, Steph Curry talked about cooking and got in the way of your profession. But he just had to add that extra sauce. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to black individuals,
y'all just go extra.
It just go for nothing.
I'm like, bro, are you
now like if
talking about the wife?
If she talked about your receding hairline or said you ugly or talked about your wife, okay, then I could get you going on the platform.
Nobody ever says Stephen A. Smith looks like a snail in the face with high blood pressure.
And he never apologized to Aisha or to Steph Curry publicly, but you know who he apologized publicly to?
Talk to us.
That white woman.
Now,
You know what time it is, y'all.
Sink.
Also, thank you, David. We appreciate the donation. Speak it solo and sincere.
Support us. Financial backers and the crackers. Know what I'm talking about?
Let us be abundantly clear. And Sin, you know who does have an ugly wife? Steve Jackson, Matt Barnes. I'm telling y'all what's going on.
Steve Jackson's wife, Matt Barnes, is ugly.
and here's what's gangster about it. Because Sin and I, we remember watching that ignorant clip of Steve Jackson together. And I said,
it caught me off guard. I'm like,
did you ever say this about Luke Walton?
Did you just raid another man's wife publicly? I mean, he already dealing with the fact that his wife mistalked, and now he has to deal with a man publicly, another black man, degrading his wife in front of the world.
And then you know what's crazy about it too? Here's the other part of it. Not only in the initial act, the action in itself was offensive, but then you go bring in another black man. You bring in another black man, LeBron James, when you know Steph Curry and LeBron James have a healthy competitive rivalry within their friendship. Then you do something funky like this.
Right.
Well, your wife, his wife, who happens to be darker, is better looking than Steph Curry's wife, when we know colorism also has been a factor in the career of Steph Curry and in that moment to his wife as well. So for me, when I looked at Stephen A. Smith do that, I says, oh, so you're playing to every racial stereotype. Now, who wrote that for you to say?
He wrote that shit for himself to impress white people.
There you go. Are we out here dancing?
If I had a platform like that, I would never bring up nobody wife who didn't do nothing to me.
I don't know that.
If he did something, if an NBA player or athlete or whatever brought up my wife or husband or whatever like that, then I'd be like, oh yeah, I got something to say. But the fact that you brought up another man's wife and no one said nothing about you is fucking crazy. And like Strategy King said, he wouldn't say that about Peyton Manning's wife. He ain't never brought up nobody else's wife who was white and compared them two white women together. That was just some disgusting shit right there. And I'm surprised that
Negro-ish.
He even Steph Curry even had an interview with your ugly ass.
Well, but that's the point, though. That is Mr. Brown's point. You all, and I said this before, and I always tell black men this. We can joke, we can roast, we can have fun, but be careful, black men, because you have been systematically programmed to accept the dehumanization of yourselves. Within our music, 90% of our music that's out there, albums, have to do with black men dying. Black death, black male death, black death, black male death, black male death, let alone with the lynchings in this country, the cutting off of the black male genitalia, the mutilation of black men, the comfort dehumanizing, and even on some of you all's jobs, y'all know about certain black men and brothers that have to lighten up their voice, they have to play, they have to pigeonhole, they have to listen to the passively racial aggressive jokes, at the same time being told that they're not the men of their community. So there is a real comfort space of denigrating other black men publicly. And I felt that is exactly what I got with Stephen A. Smith when he said that about Steph Curry's wife.
Right. And for y'all who have your preferences of who you find more attractive, that's fine. But we're saying for that man to say that,
he was comfortable.
when it was unprovoked. The gloves are off if you say something personal about me, then I'm going to say something personal about you. But you literally try to cut down another black man who was already trying to get media control because of the controversy his wife started. And you bring up two black women and try to compare their fucking looks on national television.
Also, the other question is, if I'm LeBron James, why are you commenting on my wife like that publicly?
And she is beautiful. I mean, goddamn.
Shit, my long wingspan is coming for that hairline. Why are you highlighting my wife's looks publicly like that as a sports commentator. You're in my lane. You're not some YouTuber. You're not some independent creator. You are employed by ESPN, and you're on this platform talking about my wife's looks, and what you're doing in a way, you'd say like, oh well, I think LeBron James' wife's pussy is probably better than Steph Curry's wife's pussy. That's what it sounds like.
I put my finger in both, and I said one is more juicier than the other.
Damn, son.
That's what it sounds like to a nigga.
Also, Rock, it's perfectly fine if you like Matt Barnes. Unlike Matt Barnes and Stephen A. and the other niggas who be trying to block people, we think black people have the freedom to like whoever they want and all black voices to be out there. Unlike black people who use white resources to try to shut other black voices down.
Come on now.
Like cease and desist, Charlamagne. Can we get into him for a second too after you?
We're going to get into him.
Yeah, because he's going to be the main event.
Main event, ladies and gentlemen. But it's look, for you all to understand, just like Steve Jackson said, it's all jokes. It's all jokes. It's all jokes, right? But whether you look, I'm gonna tell you something, you all. There is a specific type of, and God damn it, rest in peace.
White folks are nosy.
Rest in peace to this man.
Nosy specials.
Rest in peace to him.
Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck? Following a butterfly to Mexico. Just crazy shit. Nosy.
The reason why I bring that clip up, because none of that energy can be found on any of these platforms. You've heard Corey Holcomb, whether you love him or hate him. You've heard what he had to say about Stephen A. Smith. What he's had to say about the Steve Harveyites. Tell Stevie Harvey I don't want him.
Also the other brother who's worked with him. What's his name? Also from the West Coast. Who's worked with
Zoe Williams?
Yeah, Zoe Williams.
Shouts out to Zoe Williams. Wonderful Zoe Williams too, by the way.
Shout out to both of them.
Shouts out to both of them.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
So you've had these people have to engage with this energy long before Thought Crimes have even said anything. Y'all just know how we roll. We genuinely just don't give a fuck. We don't care. Don't care. You're not going to like us anyway. We don't care. You're scary. Keep it. Stay over there. Please don't even try. Just stay. Go. Fine. Keep your contracts. Whatever. Fuck it. But there is this particular type of energy where everybody wants to seem like they're unfiltered. That's the thing now that goes around on social media. I'm unfiltered. I'm raw. Right? When you think about the Dick Gregorys, you think about the Wanda Sykes, you think about the Moms Mabels, you think about, of course, the Paul Mooneys. Those people were raw and unfiltered. And they sat in front of their opponents and said it to their face. Whether you love Howard Stern or not, raw and unfiltered. When you think about people like Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson say All the Smoke or Up in Smoke Tour podcast, and they say they're raw, they're street niggas, when they're not, because we saw the energy shift in front of Jeannie Buss. Now, Paul Mooney.
You got that, mammy?
Hey, you know what time it is? Because I want y'all to understand something. I want y'all to really understand something, because we're going to transition to two-tone in a minute here.
Yeah, because I also want to bring up the Lakeith situation, too.
Absolutely. Listen to this, though. Thank you, Al Jolson. The reason why I say what I say is this. We recently lost Paul Mooney, and his death was announced on Malcolm X's 96th birthday, right? Now, somebody like Jeannie Buss fits the archetype of Paul Mooney when he roasted that particular type of energy in the audience. If you go look at old Paul Mooney shit, he's roasting white women and men like Jeannie Buss all day, whether they got power or not. And you can see in some of his concerts, they're actually getting up out of their seat. Now, how the fuck are you supposed to be street, raw, and unfiltered when you up there tap dancing in front of that energy like Jeannie Buss, she didn't even advertise for you to do it. That's the gangster part about that white woman.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't even ask you to do it.
I'm not even going to get on a white person who didn't do anything. I don't do that either. Just because some black person is being a weirdo in front of a white person, if I see the white person ain't doing nothing, then I'm not getting on that. I'm going to get on that black person. The bitch wasn't even being racist. She didn't say nothing racist. She wasn't being shadowy. She wasn't asking for nothing. She was being
professional?
She was just being professional, and y'all just did it because y'all wanted to be cute.
Acting like two nignogs up there. What is wrong with you two niggas?
Nobody asked for that. Nobody. You just did it because you wanted to.
I always get it and understand why the Zoe Williams and the Corey Holcombs, and even to a great extent, the Dick Gregorys and the Paul Mooneys, they never wanted to fuck with that space like that.
Think about Walton, right? Walton wasn't even a good player on the Lakers. They could have made fun of that. Who transitioned to be a horrible coach as well. You know, thank God the Lakers changed that, or they wouldn't have won in the finals. Against the Miami Heat. But to get back on point, Walton is a horrible coach, and he wasn't a good player. But all the smoke didn't bring that smoke
all
to
the
Jeannie
smoke.
Buss.
They ain't joking about Steve Nash. Come on now. You two coconut babies know exactly where to piss. And that's the energy that is in that particular space. So that's why they're super copping up right now. You got Jemele Hill shading people on Twitter. And look, sister, you have Stephen Colbert. You have all of the A-list celebrities on your podcast on YouTube, and you can barely tap 1,000 views.
Because nobody's interested, Jemele. Let me tell you where you lost your zen. Or you lost your energy. You and, what's the brother's name? He got his own YouTube channel. It's pretty good right now.
Michael, yeah, the brother podcast.
Michael, right.
Yeah. It was the His and Hers podcast, which was originally dope.
It was originally really good.
It was originally dope.
And a lot of black people tried to stand by you when you got unwrong. Like, when she said her opinion about Trump.
Yeah. Black people came to her defense.
I was disgusted by ESPN, because whether you're a supporter of Trump or not and you're black, that woman should have the right to speak about how she feels about Trump freely.
Absolutely.
And eventually she got fired. Meanwhile, you have other people in the sports world who was able to be pro-Trump or be pro-Christian or pro this and pro that without any issues. Now, we've made fun of Kaepernick, but
Michael Smith was, sorry, baby, and I mean to interrupt you, but the brother's name is Michael Smith, so you can go ahead, continue. Thank you, Jay Anderson, but go ahead, Sin.
Kaepernick, even though we made fun of him, had a right to speak and kneel and say whatever he want, and he was respectful with how he did it.
He was.
And Tim Tebow was respectful of how he showcased his Christianity. But you know what? One person was denied entry back into the NFL. The other one was welcomed with open arms, and he's not even that good of a player.
Yeah, well.
Let's just keep it 100%. That's the truth.
You know, and that's the thing about it too with Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill, and I believe the brother name is it is Michael W. Smith. And Sin and I, like, we love the His and Hers podcast. You know what's so messed up about it? Sister Hill, because I don't hate Jemele Hill at all.
I don't.
But it's not necessarily always all love with her too. I just disagree with a lot of her talking points. And I agree with some of her talking points.
She's all over the place in recent times. She don't even know what direction to go in.
Because what they did was deplatformed her. Jemele Hill and Michael W. Smith, let me tell you something, folks. Just to give them credit, they changed the fucking game of sports commentary. Before Michael W. Smith and Jemele Hill, before them two brothers and sisters got on the microphone, nobody wanted to touch on politics and mix it in with sports. It definitely wasn't Stephen Smith.
Scary ass.
He definitely wasn't doing it.
That's why I say
he definitely was not doing it. You would actually have someone like Stuart Scott, God bless the dead, would occasionally touch on that.
That's why I always tell people it's not just Democrat plantation. It's not just that. You got black people who get removed from platforms by white conservatives, and you get black people who get removed from platforms by white liberals.
And what happened? And here's the irony, because we're going to be getting into Charlamagne, because I got to bring him up with this. This is how popular His and Hers podcast and His and Hers show was. I actually watched them at the time over anything else. By the time His and Hers was rolling off, I didn't want to see anything from Stephen Smith. He's an entertaining orator. Yeah, he does all of that shit. But when I wanted actual substance, Michael Smith and Jemele Hill. Now, the podcast in itself became so popular when they talked about sports and politics. They even talked about the racial dynamics of how Cam Newton was being treated at the height of Cam dabbing all over the nation.
Right. And
they covered all of that.
No, Jemelle and Michael did defend him, and they actually, and Jemelle, because we have to give it both sides. Jemele Hill defended NFL players that got in trouble. That what really got her fired, besides the Trump thing, was the fact that she said black NFL players should leave the NFL. That's what got her fired. So there is some good thoughts and direction with Jemele Hill, but she should have minded her business when it came to Mr. Brown, because it's none of your fucking business, and you're getting in the way of a lot of the stuff you fought for and what you said before that got you fired by corporate entities. So we don't lie. Just like when Strategy King talks about the good things Kanye has done, even though we have constructive criticism for Kanye West, we also have to be fair to Jemele Hill and give that same constructive criticism, because I remember all the good things she said to try to defend black athletes, but I also remember all the dumb shit she has been saying in recent times too, as well.
Well, and that's because after the fact. And let me say this here, because I'm sure this particular broadcast, this recast, will get around to a lot of different people. Trust us. Jemele Hill and Michael Smith, what happened to them was unfucking fortunate. Also, Rob Mack, we appreciate the 50 smackaroos.
Support us. Financial backers and the crackers.
Kwame has a right to shut the haters down. You already know.
He needs to continue to shut them down.
Kwame over there with that Georgia red clay. Mm-hmm. You got red dirt in your afro. So anyway, I'm just saying this because this is transitioning to Charlamagne. So what happened with Jemele Hill and Michael Smith was very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And it was fucked up. Because after they went down, the entire sports commentating, sports pundit industry adopted their formula. Max Kellerman talking about race. Stephen A. Smith talking about race. Right? You got all of these people talking about Shannon and Skip talking about, oh my God. And I love to listen to people that have intelligent and sharp and witty points. But when I look at Shannon Sharp, and even what Skip Bayless adopted afterwards, Skip Bayless wasn't always up there talking about race issues and being comfortable talking about it. But after their people that run these networks looked at the analytics, they dissected and broke down, studied, and reverse engineered the His and Hers show. When they moved it from SportsCenter 2, I think, or ESPN 2, because it was originally on ESPN 2. And the show did amazing, so much so they moved it to ESPN 1 and they put it on SportsCenter. And lo and behold, when they invited Jemele Hill and Michael Smith on The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, who was an avid listener, he turned to them and he asked them, are you all going to be able to speak as freely on SportsCenter as you all did on ESPN 2? Jemele Hill and Michael Smith, they confidently looked at Charlamagne the God and they said, yes, that actually was proven false.
Right, and that's why I say we tell all the story. Like with Jemele Hill, she defended black men a lot of times and defended black NFL players, but she has bit into the woke economy. She has bit into wokeism. And I feel that is personally hurting her. No different from Tamika Mallory. I loved it when Tamika Mallory stood her ground.
You talking about Cadillac Tar?
Yeah, I loved it when Cadillac Tar stood her ground against Meghan McCain and said, I support Faircon.
Absolutely.
That's her right to support Faircon if she wants to. So I must be constructive criticism with Tamika. Tamika has stood on her square before, but when people start, I don't know, when people start being really close with Charlamagne, some of them start doing weird shit. She went from standing on her square, defending her, people. Her people also talk about some of the issues that we as a black community need to grow on, because even Mr. Brown, he's not just talking about white people. He's talking about the shit black men and black women need to fucking work on too. And black people have the right, Jemele Hill or whoever, Mr. Brown, they have a right to talk about the issues black people have when it comes to our gender politics or whatever, whether they're a traditional or feminist or not, whatever. They all have the right to speak. But the problem is Jemelle and TAMIKA bit into that weird shit. And now it's like the Twilight Zone with them.
They bit into the woke market. Do you all understand? Woke economy part 3 coming soon. They bit into the woke market. Because Sin and I, we have our conversation. She is a black woman. I am a black man. We understand the dynamics, what goes on within our ethnicity, group, race, and the politics, the geopolitics, and the local politics of the matter. And I feel like this. It was interesting. I personally, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. Michael Smith, when they lost their footing on SportsCenter, because they were guaranteed that they were going to be able to speak as freely as they was able to speak on the throwaway ESPN2, right? When they lost their footing, Michael Smith, he recused himself from the public. I know, because I was looking for the brother. Jemele Hill, on the other hand, Black Girl Magic, caught her. And it became a debating talking point.
Yeah, I didn't like when Skip... Oh, sorry, Prince.
Well, yeah. What were you going to say?
I don't like when it was real that Skip Bayless went after 2 black women.
Yes.
So, again, I do want to talk about the things that Jemelle has done that was right, just like we talked about what Kanye did that was right, and what TAMIKA did that was right. Yeah, but we also are talking about what they're doing that's wrong. TAMIKA being Cadillac, Pimpin' Jones now is weird.
It's a bad look.
Jemele Hill, what you're doing right now is weird. Y'all need to get back to your focus, get back to your core of who y'all are, and stop with this woke economy shit. And woke is a positive word. It's a phrase that was created by black philosophers, so I'm not hating on it, but it has
William Melvin Kelly.
It's been co-opted by the woke economy that is funded by white resources and black gatekeepers who are attacking other black voices.
Absolutely. So when Michael Smith lost his footing and Jemele Hill lost her footing, but guess what? Black Girl Magic, Black Twitter was right there to catch her because she's a black woman and she was a well-known black woman. And between Jemele Hill and Michael Smith, it bounced between who was in front of the A mic or the B mic. And it was fine. They both traded off on each other. And the reason why I enjoyed their energy is they showed that a black man and a black woman can cooperate on a microphone and give brilliant commentary. Even when they disagree. And they had some wonderful classic skits. The Boys in the Hood skit. The His and Her show is legendary. It's changed the way these people have attacked the social stratosphere concerning athletes, race, and politics, right? So here's the thing, though. Michael Smith had a conversation with Jemele Hill on her podcast. I don't know, I can't remember the name of it right now, but they had a conversation. He talked about he went into a deep depression. And he also highlighted that the same people, when Jemele Hill and Michael Smith were getting cooked by conservatives and even the president of the United States, politicians, people of power, men of power, some of their network peers did not speak up for their defense, didn't even speak up for them. And Michael Smith said he found it interesting after they took an L with their platform, all of a sudden, some of the same people adopted many of the styles, much of the styles of the His and Hers podcast, right? Jemele Hill, on the other hand, while Michael Smith went into seclusion, into the back cave of depression, Jemele Hill, was what we saw. She was being expressive. She was having these fits online publicly.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. No, we're not gonna act like we're not intelligent here.
Right.
Just like white people's story about even fictional tales about how Anakin became Darth Vader. Absolutely. Black people deserve that same fucking respect.
I'm just telling y'all what it is.
I think Jemele Hill is wrong. I think TAMIKA Mallory is wrong. We think a lot of these people are wrong, and we agree with Brown on everything that he's doing. But white stories are told in a complete manner, and for black people not to get lost, you have to tell the story from the beginning. If I lie and just say, "Oh, TAMIKA has always been a bust," or "She's always been this or that, or
Well,
Jemelle.
You don't tell the complete truth about Jemelle Hill.
Right. If we lie and say Jemelle Hill has always been one way,
that's not the case.
Then a lot of young black people who are Gen Zers don't know how people become frauds. So it's very important to articulate the origin tale when we're describing black people and what has happened, because it's important to say the story of Adidon. Like Tyler Bennett said, you have to talk about how did a black person start off at point A, just like Steven Jackson. He's done some good, but how did Steven Jackson
turn Hollywood
start one way and then how he has become what he is now? Is very important to articulate how a black person has become compromised, because if you pretend they always had this opinion, then it's very hard for people to understand how people change. And it's very important for us as black commentators to say this is how a black person has changed from this to that. So if white people get to have their stories be told, even with black people we disagree with, the whole truth has to be told as well.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Thank you, Sin. So, thank you, Sin. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. Because I know as I was explaining, I saw some people getting tight. Who gives a fuck about their story? I do. That's why we call thought crimes. Y'all, we're gonna look. We give you history. We're saying like this is why Jemelle Hill is where she is. Okay, and look, Michael Smith decided in recent time he started a podcast up again with another brother. I think it's an excellent podcast. But we've even seen what happened with the likes of Bomani Jones. Completely removed from the mainstay altogether. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were surrounding it, but Bomani Jones was very comfortable about talking about race issues publicly. And at the time when these ladies, this lady and these gentlemen, they were doing this, they were the second wave of a particular type of sports pundency. The establishment at the time was skittish. But when they looked at the metrics after they slid everybody out of the way, they began to market that. That's where we get into the woke market now. Right. This is where we get into the woke market.
It's very important. I love reading, and I love reading on how people transform in life. I've always been curious, how did somebody get to this point?
How did they get there?
How did you sell out your community?
How did he become RuPaul?
How did you have this mindset? Just like we saw how Malcolm X evolved. We got to see when he was on the street slinging that weight, right? Pushing that dough. But we got to see and respect how he transformed into a leader for our community. I also like to see how the reverse happens. I like to see how did someone start off as being for the community and how they was easy to become a sellout.
We got people they need to, and to be honest with y'all, this is what we talked about before though. And even as we're articulating this, maybe when Jemelle Hill comes across this, she has to understand, hey, we have been watching you the whole time, shawty. Because sometimes we get stuck in our own ways. We think one way, this, that, or third, and you forget people have been watching you. We have people that, hey, hit us up, Thought Crimes, man, I followed y'all at the beginning, man. It's great to see what y'all grown into. And they have witnessed the growth, just like we've watched the growth or the decline. I saw what happened with His and Hers podcast. I saw what happened with Jemelle Hill and Michael Smith. And then the minute Jemelle Hill wasn't dealing with things correctly, when she began posting these strange articles and going back and forth with people, then switching and confusing folks, because black folks became confused. They said, So that's, in that space, that's exactly what happened. But nonetheless, though, when they took their fall, now all of these people are comfortable talking about race, talking about this. Actually, if it wasn't for them, they would have never addressed Kwame Brown.
Right, and this is also goes for Steven Jackson. A lot of people in our community supported Steven Jackson. I like that Steven Jackson supported Ice Cube, the Big Three. I like that Steven Jackson defend his Muslim beliefs and the fact that he won't throw Farrakhan under the bus. But that doesn't take away the fact that Steven Jackson needs to be talked about, because what he's trying to do to another black man when it comes to about Mr. Brown. Just like, we said what Jemelle or TAMIKA, where they did that was right. they still need to be criticized because what they're doing right now is wrong. And when you simplify things, and this is what I like what Brown is doing too, when you simplify things, you just call people a coon or this and that, you're not articulating how things have gotten to a certain point. And it's very important that you do.
It's not helping anything either.
It's very important that you do.
It's not helping. It's not helping. Sin.
Now I want to really go in on this Charlamagne thing because
I got to talk about the Charlamagne.
I don't like predators in our community.
Got to talk about it. Let's talk about it, Sid. Because look,
go ahead, Prince. You go ahead before I say what I need to say.
No, you do your thing. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Well, I feel like I haven't seen much that Charlamagne has done that's been good when it comes to the things that he's been doing for a really long time. Throwing your ashy butt cheeks towards men when they come up in your show, to me that's really disturbing. If you did that to a woman or through a penis, an ashy penis that was molded into your penis, you would get fired for things like that.
You would be canceled.
I think it's very inappropriate that Charlamagne
says black men don't have no rights,
has been allowed to like do all this inappropriate things to other black men, and it's like it's not really funny to me. Now if you have two comedians who's joking around and you put your ashy butt cheeks towards them, then fine, that's okay. You know, I don't have a problem with that because it's not abusive. Y'all both okay with that, fine. But when you throwing ashy butt cheeks to just random black men, it's really disgusting to me because it's just inappropriate. You're crossing people's boundaries in a way that I think is very inappropriate. It's kind of like you're forcing a sexual act or energy on people, and I never like that. Just like if you're gay or part of the LGBTQ community and you have people in the media trying to force you to be straight or straight camps, that's abusive. I think the other way around is also abusive, just like what he did to Rollins. People don't understand why Rollins is so angry. He has a right to be angry. You put your ashy butt cheeks on this man, try to bully him, and it's like he's not into that. He doesn't think it's funny, and it's very weird to do that. You didn't even give people a warning or anything. You just threw it right there on their lap, and I just think that's very suspect for you to do. Just like I didn't think it was funny when Charlamagne used to talk about what that mouth do to Brandy. Now I'm not saying that Charlamagne has never been funny, but a lot of the trash things he's done has not been humorous to me personally. I think it's very insulting to put your sex on people without permission, whether it's male or female. So I feel like a lot of things he did towards black women and to black men was out of pocket. And for me, Charlamagne is the worst out of all of them because Steven, Jackson, JEMELLE, TAMIKA, I feel they need to be talked to, especially with their biases and supporting Charlamagne. But Charlamagne is the biggest perv of them all because he actually does abusive things to other people who are in his space.
Well, another thing too, here's the thing. Here's what's really gangster about all of it. Charlamagne is the one that escalated the issue. Do you all know what that means, right? See, when it was between Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson, come on. It's like, well, which one of these athletic niggas will see each other first before they start boxing? But then when Charlamagne got on the radio, and then he proceeded to give us the history of Kwame Brown's family, the 23andMe history of Kwame Brown's family. They said his daddy was burying children in the backyard and that there's more than likely there's a killer gene going on. Be careful with him. And, oh, yeah, you want him. And don't mess with him. Don't play. Hey, his career was fucked up. Don't play. He might kill just like his daddy. I said, well, that's a bit different. That's odd, right? And you put that out there. What happens is you escalate an issue, and then of course Kwame Brown shared the information with everybody that he didn't know a lot of the things that Charlamagne was talking about. So when you went out there and you kind of just say, all right, this is how much we don't give a fuck about black men. That's really what I'm getting from this message. From what Matt Barnes to Charlamagne did. This is saying in the public, and I've always said this, you guys know this. I've always said this. The media does not give a fuck about the alpha slave known as the black male.
I agree, and Charlamagne has predatory tendencies. We saw with Bone Jones. Charlamagne was scared. He also tried to do his colorist jokes, and Bones was irritated by it. But I saw when a man came in there who can physically beat the shit, and he had a tick in him, and he could beat the shit out of Charlamagne. Charlamagne didn't say anything.
He moved out of the way, basically. And what I'm saying is just to keep it real with y'all. Because he's not going to say anything at this point about black women. He's not going to even do half of the stuff that he does. Because, number one, there's a market. And two, that Jessica Reed thing keeps floating up.
And he already did it for a long time.
Right.
His bread and butter used to be doing sexually weird stuff to women when they come on the show.
You're right saying it. The real issue between him and Joe Budden, and Charlamagne's not going to even say that. Because he's trying to stay away from that issue. But the real reason Joe Budden and Charlamagne fell out, Thought Crimes can say it, is because when Joey was going on one of his infamous rants, do I need to bring a young lady up from South Carolina? I says, well, they won't be speaking anymore.
They're not friends anymore.
Right? You know, of course, on the podcast with him and Andrew Schultz, he made it out to be that you're one way behind the scenes, but in the public, you make me your enemy. I said, Charlamagne, that's not why you're not speaking to that Spanish nigga anymore. It's because he brought up the Jessica Reed scenario. And the only reason why Kwame Brown is doing what he's doing right now is because what you said about his papa. And that's my thing about it. That's why I always say to people, I don't like the whole fake, unfiltered, raw culture. If you want to be Howard Stern, if you want to be Petey Green, if you want to be early Richard Pryor, if you want to be a young Dave Chappelle,
then tell the truth.
If you want to be an Eddie Murphy, then you got to take all of the hits that you going back. If I know I'm on the microphone on the Breakfast Club, not happening, by the way, hypothetically, in another scenario, if Sin and I are on the microphone on the Breakfast Club, right, and I said what I said about Kwame Brown's daddy, and I got dirt in my background, I'm expecting return fire.
Right, Master P came on the show and had to check Charlamagne because Charlamagne was sexualizing one of his female friends in a disturbing
man, you know,
manner.
me, your ex is now, man, we not going to do that. She's family.
Right, and I also want to bring it up. There's been like Rollins. Rollins is not a guy who, you know, we know physically he's not going to be able to beat certain dudes up. So Charlamagne felt just so comfortable at making him feel uncomfortable with the ashy butt, and it's like, how is violating another human being, but also violating another black man? How is that funny to you? Well, if I see someone is uncomfortable with something, why would I continue to like force it? This sexual thing of like this, you know, this type of sex, and put it on that person when you know they're uncomfortable.
Well, here's the thing, though. Sin, and I'm gonna be honest with you, right? It's being fake controversial. What I mean by that is this. A lot of times when you all, you know, you have like one family member that they just say, oh, my bad, y'all said it was Mercedes, Mia X, I don't know who it was, Mercedes, Cadillac, I don't know. They call TAMIKA. So anyway, you have people that say they're raw, they're unfiltered, they don't get, really what they do is shoot at safe targets. It's the classic Eminem trope. I will always say this, the one rapper that gave Eminem an ass whooping on the microphone was the fat white boy Everlast. And he said, look, Slim Shady, and I'm talking about Slim Shady. Now, if you want to talk about God body, Eminem now, fine, you can have that. I don't listen to either one of them. But when Slim Shady was running around here acting like he was so controversial, NSYNC, O-Town, you know, Chinese food makes me sick, all this other stuff, right? Christina Aguilera better switch me to, and people say, ooh, he's so edgy. I said, no, he wasn't. And Everlast made a dope song, and he said, basically, you shoot deer in the cage. So, Sin, when you bring up that scenario where Charlamagne is throwing silicone butts on Ashley Larry, or going after, what was
even when he brutalized Lil Ma.
Shooting deer in the cage. And the reason, and Lil Ma was she was an injured deer in the cage because she had just lost her mother. And I'm sure within that industry and that space at the time, it's not like people did it. No, it was known that she had lost her mother. So if we're talking about real controversy, if we're talking about real, raw, and unfiltered, it came. Its name was Kwame Brown.
That's the real G.
And that's the thing about it. It's like they say, you fuck around and you fuck around and you fuck around. And that's what they've been doing. So Steve Jackson, Matt Barnes, and what Charlamagne did, it was the fuck around crew. And DJ Envy as well. And we know DJ Envy has been very sensitive because Deezus and Mero, two of the more harmless comedic minds in our generation, they mildly, not even roasted, not even cooked, they just turned up the heat a little bit on DJ Envy when he was sitting on the couch of The View and talking about how he cheated. When they went on to the Breakfast Club, DJ Envy was flipping up and down like a light-skinned Tupac.
You don't talk about my wife.
All of this smoke.
Oh, yeah, he had all that smoke.
And then when the people that are actually going to give DJ Envy that smoke back, guess what? When they show up for the interview, DJ Envy's missing.
Well, this is the difference, too, between them.
Go ahead, Sam.
Steven Jackson, Tamika, and JEMELLE started off the right way and became sellouts. Charlamagne used to try to be a fake Howard Stern, Bill O'Reilly. He was always saying disgusting stuff, being pro R. Kelly, being pro a lot of weird shit. And
you remember he was running with Wendy early on as her right. Ghoulish henchman.
Yeah, when even like talk shit about 10-year-old black girls. So he's been always disturbing. It's different because the other ones started off on the right path. Then when the money and all that stuff, they became sellouts. Or when they got, smacked by White Zaddy and their resources, then they changed up. But Charlamagne always been a regressive demon, not even a good demon, a regressive, weird demon who does weird shit.
I mean, it's the truth, people. Because if you paid attention early on to Charlamagne, his influences were the likes of P.D. Green, Howard Stern, that whole Larry Flint issue. One of my favorite films of all time is The People versus Larry Flint. And here's what was gangster about it. I mean, here's what's funny. Even when we speak about selling out, sin, if we want to put that out there, right? Let's put that out there. Charlamagne was comfortable in that space of being a ghoul, trolling people, getting a reaction from the crowd. This, that, and dirty. He loved it.
Until recently when he became woke.
Well, it's when the money came. Remember now, Charlamagne said it himself that allegedly Jay-Z got him fired from a radio station. Right? It's when you start making the money in that space, you start developing relations. So, yes, Charlamagne has started out one way, and now that the money has started coming in and developing relationship, he's trying to transition the other way, but he still has those ticks.
Remember,
he still has those ticks where what he did with Kwame Brown when he spoke about his father. Because see, when you heard Charlamagne say that about Kwame Brown's daddy, that's old Charlamagne. That's a part of him coming out.
Yeah, when he did that was mad disrespectful to talk about that man's business like that and things that he didn't even know about. And another thing that's really
brought up Choke, right?
Disturbing about Charlamagne. Yeah, he one time years ago, Choke revealed, and he has it on video, where Charlamagne showed him a text about one of his bosses on, I don't know, iHeartRadio, whatever, said they wanted to suck Charlamagne's dick or have Charlamagne suck the boss dick. So we already know Charlamagne does a lot of stuff. He praised R. Kelly's video, said it taught him how to eat ass. The P-cum. Excuse me, I can't say all of it because it's very disturbing. But two young girls. So then he was in the same vein. He was in that video that was supposed to be documentary exposing R. Kelly with Dream Hampton. But I don't get how this man gets to move like that. And Mr. Brown has a great question. Like, out of all of them, how does Charlamagne gets to move like that? Because a sellout will, a sellout who hasn't committed sexual violations against a child, okay, I get it. They're a mouthpiece for you, and it's hard for people to get rid of them because they haven't done any crime. But how the fuck has Charlamagne been able to move like this when he has so many receipts and files on him doing sexually disturbing things to people and saying sexual disturbing things, and also having allegations against him of sexually assaulting women and underage girls, spiking their drink.
Well, hold on now, Sin. Hold on, folks. It's a great question, Sin, but I don't. Let me tell y'all something. Hey, people. This is all happening in real time, people. It's not about when is it going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening in real time. Folks, by this point of his career, Jessica Reed should not have been an issue for Charlamagne. But boom, here we go again. And Jessica Reed's spirit, she's like the Loch. She's basically like Jaws. Just the top of the shark fin, it just keeps reappearing. We might as well call Jessica Reed a lunar eclipse.
Can we actually roll the clip of one of our YouTube videos too?
Send that link to me, Sam. Send it link to me, yeah. Look, it's happening in real time, people. The cease and desist. Here's the thing about it.
Oh yeah, bring that up.
Kwame Brown. Yeah. Kwame Brown does not care. And this is what happens. This is what we're talking about when you're leaving a collective footprint and receipts. Charlamagne has been speaking very freely. His mouth has gotten away with him. Just like Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson sitting on that podcast in front of Jeannie Buss. Their ego got away with them. Kwame Brown, who that mute nigga? What the fuck is he gonna say, right? Dude, even when they kind of like, he didn't even exist in the trade.
He wasn't nothing.
He was nothing.
His voice didn't matter.
He wasn't shit, right? And then when Charlamagne the guy got up there and said that, he spoke about him like, hey, what can you do, basically? And that's the whole point. Then you see Stephen A. Smith change his tune. He's like, well, I don't want to talk about that, brother. Right?
Too late.
Whether you agree with Shannon Sharpe or not, guess what? He still understands that fat black meat is greasy.
Oh, he knew not to mess with the
Skip, I don't even know. Skip, no.
I ain't talking about it.
We're just going to skip, no. Skip,
Sharpe said, I just going to agree that Michael Jordan ain't shit. That's all that Sharpe said.
Skip, no, I'm not. He said it. See, Shannon,
and he was smart. That's why Shannon Sharpe ain't getting cooked.
He says, I don't want to be involved in that personal shit. Charlamagne jumped right in it. And now you have to give out cease and desist. That's my whole point. When the man's talking about you gonna deal with my mama's cooking, you gonna understand the meat is greasy. You gonna understand or remember how that meat tastes. Because a lot of you all have forgot that. Who cares about the whole things about, are you down with T.I.? Are you down with Charlotte? Are you down with Matt? Are you down? They shouted you out, this, that, and third. You all got to understand, y'all are very reckless with your mouth concerning black folk. You act as if you cannot be shooken up. Because if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't be handing out cease and desist orders. So every time, that's the whole point of Thought Crime. We always notice when it comes to a lot of these black folk that make a little bit of money, they get real reckless with other black folk. So now that Kwame Brown has drummed up so much, and every time he goes live, every time he does a video, the next day it's got like 100,000 views, 200,000 views.
Chat watching.
Right. He's getting 20, 30,000 people in his live chats because you got to understand he's a sports figure.
And quietly.
So that moves across all demographics in sport.
It's not just the Breakfast Club covering the culture. It's not just covering R&B and hip hop and reality television.
He's a former sports athlete that was handpicked by Michael Jeffrey Jordan. His platform is larger than all of you all's platform, actually.
Right, and there's a lot of quiet supporters of Mr. Brown. You know there are a lot of NBA I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie Irving was quietly supporting Mr. Brown's platform. You already saw Mark Jackson know how the NBA did him dirty because of his spiritual beliefs. He, talk about mama's cooking. So he's giving a wink, like, man, I'm listening in. You're right.
What you saying?
And we got you got sports commentators who got millions of subscribers who support Mr. Brown and his thoughts about what's taking place with the sports industrial complex.
We're going to town with Mr. Brown, and this is so beautiful because Charlamagne, y'all got an education today. Matt Barnes, you all got an education today. Steve Jackson, you all got an education today, and this is what I mean, okay? Too many times, you all have stunted on creators who don't have your connections, your relationships, none of your small contracts, and in some cases, large contracts. Too many times have you all stunted comfortably on those black creators who don't necessarily have a visible name. Let's say like a DJ Envy, or let's say a Matt Barnes, or and ironically, even with you two niggas, there was a period of time where y'all clown people who were doing podcasts. Now look at you.
Now everybody
I got the top podcast.
I thought you said that didn't mean nothing before.
See, this is what we're talking about, though.
Yeah, niggas. Also, can I bring this up too, Prince, before you continue? I also think that it's really disturbing when you see, these guys, coming into alternative media and trying to act like they're for the people, but when they're really not. But in the Brown situation, with what this whole, it feels like it is an agenda where it's like an attack where they're all going in formation against this one black man.
They have to, though, Sin.
And they have to know. I agree with, but it's like they thought they was protecting Matt Barnes, but they forgot this is the time where all the pieces are being revealed. Like, people who did disturbing acts, black, white, whatever, to other human beings, whether it's a Jeffrey Epstein, whether it's a T.I. and Tiny with the allegations towards them, like all these, whatever was done in the dark to try to keep people down is now coming to light.
Zim, but isn't that Zodiac shit? Didn't that Capricorn, Uranus, one of them niggas moved into the other nigga, and it's gonna reveal the shit behind institutions?
It reveals secrets.
Right. So this is what I'm saying.
So Brown he's at the right time.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Sin. They have to get information, and I'll tell you why. We're going to town with Mr. Brown. Let me tell you why this happened, folks. And please, let this be a boxing clinic for you all. Deontay Wilder and Fury. I can't wait to see that happen. Because what they found out with their corporate contracts, with their relations, because to be honest with you, the Smoke podcast is a property based on privilege of relations. Nobody was necessarily asking for it. They just used the connections that they had to put themselves in positions, and I get it. But when you go after independent creators and other black folks who don't have those connections or the relationship, and they actually got to get it out the mud, as they say in the South, they got to get it 10 toes down, then that's where you become an elitist or an oppressor. Because you all, at the end of the day, y'all still steal from independent creators on top of that who don't have y'all connections.
Amen. Thieving.
And so when Kwame Brown got on social media and responded, and to be honest with you, do you all know how many people said they didn't even know how Kwame Brown's voice sounded? This is how quiet this man has been. Yeah, you might have seen an interview here, there, but he has not done many interviews in 20 years, people.
Right.
So when he responded, and you start to see 15,000 people in his live streams, 20,000 people in his live stream, of course the Breakfast Club is going to come in and say Matt Barnes is my friend and they don't deserve this, because you know what that represents? That represents traffic, and that represents minds, and that represents minds that can be changed to sway people against Matt Barnes. And to be honest with you, people like Matt Barnes and even Steve Jackson, they're not built for that type of criticism that they inflict on others that are less fortunate than them.
They can't handle it. And he had 3 months ago, he had like a stream or whatever, a video where he talked about Ice Cube and was supporting him. But this really isn't about Dems and Republicans. I'm glad that somebody in the chat keeps saying that. And then I want to get back to Charlamagne, of course, because we got some things we're going to show with receipts. But it isn't about Republican versus Democrats. I am sick and tired of black people getting caught in this conundrum where they're rooting for two parties who both have been very disrespectful to us. Kaepernick, I think some part of Kaepernick is phony, but he has the right of freedom of speech, and Donald Trump got in the way of that. Sit your ugly ass down. If you are able to speak and say whatever the fuck you want as a white conservative, Kaepernick, whether phony or not, have the right to say whatever the fuck he wants as well. So just like you had white presidents or whoever liberal presidents that came after black people and freedom of speech. And I'm sure Joe Biden is going to be guilty of that as well. I don't play that fucking game as if one is better than the other. Both Republicans and Democrats are uncomfortable with black people speaking freely. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I'm sure they're trying to get in the way of Ice Cube right now. And Ice Cube has hinted to things. But I've seen Donald Trump get in the way of freedom of speech for black individuals as well when they say things that he doesn't like.
I actually also seen black sellouts get in the way.
Right, and black conservatives should be able to speak. Black liberals should be able to speak. Yeah. Every black voice should be able to speak.
Let every
freely.
Voice insane.
But I don't play into that Democrats versus Republicans bullshit because I've seen both of them are white. But yeah, both of them Democrats, like Prince said, they mess around. I've seen our videos get flagged when we said things that didn't agree with Trump, and I saw our videos get flagged when we said things about Joe Biden. I have never seen a black person, however they feel politically, have been allowed to speak freely. No. I've seen them both get beat up on both ends by Democrats who don't like a black man or a woman speaking like Ice Cube, or fucking white hillbillies not flagging and trying to get rid of black men and women who don't like Trump. You have your right to not like whoever the fuck you don't want to. Yeah. So it's a mob mentality on both sides.
Well, what it is, sin. It's what you call thought crimes. Folks, that's really what it is. All of that Orwellian energy is ambidextrous. It can be found in both hands. And yes, you can highlight the racist white conservatives. You can highlight even the scary white liberals that censor people, censor the shit out of people. But please, on both ends, please, folks, we must remind you, do not forget about the black sellout. The black sellout is the titan in the room to make things move. You can combat a white racist conservative or a passive racist white liberal, but that black sellout, that black card, on both ends, that's that street cred that them racists need.
Oh yeah,
that's the street cred that the racists, please, as much as we talk about these white racist folk who show their ass, not white folks actually, hey man, I just want to help out, dude. I don't want any bad karma in the next life. I'm talking about these black ass sellouts on both sides. People, those are the heavy hitters in the room. And that is the average independent thinking black woman, black man's kryptonite. It is the black sellout.
And we're talking about freedom of speech. We're not talking about other policies. I get that y'all have a right to vote on whatever policies y'all want, whether Republican or Democrat. We're talking about freedom of speech. We're not speaking as outsiders. We've seen our channel. We know what we're talking about. If we said something that liberal didn't like, the white elite in the liberal camp with their black boule dogs or whatever, we saw our shit get flagged. And when we said shit about Trump or Republicans or white people or the Proud Boys, when we said shit about the Proud Boys, we saw our shit get flagged. So it's both sides equally.
Yeah, so but don't forget about the black sellout. For me personally, I can deal with the other shit. That black sellout, oof. Think about that. Think about all of the black men that have validated the propaganda against Kwame Brown. If those black men had not said anything, if Steve Jackson said, yeah man, you know what, yeah, I mean he was disappointing, but it's hard for young brothers coming into the league. Kwame Brown can say that when he talked about black men and being oppressed by black women. I mean Steve Jackson he can find a way to start speaking about black men when it comes to, I guess, child support, alimony. I don't know, nigga. But the black sellout, please, folks, this is what it's about. It's about the black corporatists.
And I like what you said, it's black corporatists who don't want to build their own shit.
Yeah, because when I use that word sellout, I'm not talking about, a nigga was guaranteed a contract. Yeah, that don't make him a sellout. It's his actions behind it. It's when you become a corporatist. And right now you got black corporate voices masquerading as the everyday black man and black woman's opinion. And they have been out of touch people. When y'all bring up and y'all cry about a Jay-Z to me, I ask you all, as this nigga, do you know how long Jay-Z has been fucking rich? When Diddy be bouncing around all over the place with his opinions, brother love, we gonna go to war, it's gonna be bloodshed. He had that weird conversation in front of Charlamagne. Niggas, do y'all remember, do y'all know how long Diddy has been fucking rich?
I agree.
People, these are corporate voices. They don't have nothing in common. They don't even know what the wind is. They have to wait to hear the trend. They have to wait to see the trend. You all are the trend. Do you understand that? The average black voice, the average black opinion is the fucking trend. They have to wait to see what's the next trend. That's how detached they are from the culture. Charlamagne is so fucking detached that he didn't think that Jessica Reed would be brought up again when he said that about that man's father.
Yeah, you bring up certain personal things, then it could be brought back in return. And what Princess said, it is speaking fire because it happens all the time. It happens to us. We already know what it is. Candace Owen can speak freely because she never says nothing against white conservatives. So the bitch can speak. And the black people who never say nothing against white liberals, they speak freely too. If you're like Dark Crimes and you're independent, you have constructive criticism and you're like, okay, this policy by the Democrats is wrong. Oh, wait a minute. This policy by the Republicans is wrong. Oh, wait a minute. No, Trump is an asshole for saying that and trying to stifle that person's freedom of speech. No, you know, Joe Biden, he's an asshole too because he tried to stifle freedom of speech. You don't get any support. You have to be all the way on one side for white conservatives and whoever to back you in the paint like they do Candace Owens, or you got to be all the way liberal, all the way yes, Democrats are always right and all that other stuff in order for that side to defend you with corporate dollars too. So people who have independent thinking, when they're like they have constructive mindsets, they do not get support. So we need to stop trying to pretend that it's the same thing because it's not.
They are simply out of touch. The black corporate voice has been out of touch for quite some time. In my opinion about Charlamagne the God is that he has not only been corporate for a long time, he is the definition of black corporatism. When Jay-Z said we're past kneeling, everybody got upset. Sending out, we came to you all and we said we knew he was going to say something like that. Because he's out of touch. He don't read the room. And when I say the room, I'm talking about the room where the black kids hang out in. A lot of y'all don't even read that room. Charlamagne didn't even read that room.
Just like Joe Biden.
Joe Biden didn't read. He didn't read. You can't read the room because y'all are not around everyday black folk.
And can I say one more thing too, just to prove my point, Prince, about the what black people have to face with the dynamics of politics.
Right.
Amazing Lucas, who was pro-Trump policies, of course, but he saw a lot of white people being racist to him, and he didn't like how they was trying to like paint him as one of their boys, where he can't defend,
one of their pets,
right?
Yeah. Where
he couldn't defend himself as a black man while also speaking the views he believed politically to be true. Amazing Lucas don't lick the nuts of white men across the board who are conservative. He don't lick their nuts at all.
Actually spends most of the time going at them. Shouts out to Amazing Lucas too, by the way.
He believes in conservative principles. He believes that is the best vehicle for black people, but he doesn't allow himself to get disrespected at the same time. When you are a black person who 100% lick the nuts of white conservatives or white liberals, you're always going to be protected by one of their sides. But when you're someone who's independent, who say, okay, I believe in these policies, whether it's liberal or conservative, whatever, I believe in these policies, but I'm not going to let you call me a nigger. I'm not going to let you disrespect me.
Yeah.
People come after you.
Also, by the way, to keep us in the algorithm, y'all go ahead and get those likes up. You know, we got some people in the chat, so y'all can just get those likes up. That way you can be made aware whenever we go live again. So I appreciate that. Again, for me personally, you know, she shares the same sentiments. I can't speak for her though, but I will say this: with KWAME, you all, this is so beautiful. This is clearly, in all said parties, this is clearly about the corporate black voice, the corporate slave, right, versus the person that just doesn't care. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. And KWAME actually, he was grounded up by the corporation. The NBA is a corporation, people. And Kwame Brown, nobody caught Kwame Brown. Nobody said, hey, you know what? Let's try to develop you. Let's try to make things work right for you. They didn't care about that. The same thing happened. You saw what happened with Michael Vick. Michael Vick was ridiculed because his accountant hustled power of attorney, which was a criminal act the way she conducted it. But Mike Vick was the one made fun of. So this is why it is very important, even though with all of the woke truths that Charlamagne speaks, you have to make sure you actually feel that you cannot stand black people. Are you sure that you don't, is that you resent black folks, black folks, black people who are not in your space, black people who are not in front of Jeannie Buss, Steve Jackson, Matt Barnes? The only reason I'm saying this is because a lot of you all like to wear the culture of black people. You like to wear it as a veneer, a suit. It's no different than the white girls TikToking right now. It's no different than them, the TikTok DJs remixing Busta Rhymes. It's fun, it's cute, but I don't have to really deal with it. So the comfort to me and what they did with Kwame Brown, who was pretty much been a silent voice, a silent NBA alumni, one of the more quieter ones, they made it very clear that they don't give a fuck. And to be honest with you, you cannot claim that you're a victim of racism while attempting to practice elitist values.
Right, and Prince is up to you, but do you want to play? We have a video that we did showcasing how Angela Yee and Angela Rye are full of shit. I'm so sick of this fake feminist shit. You don't care about black women. You don't care about black girls. You don't care about kids getting touched and none of that shit. Y'all all are part of the same order. So you want to roll that clip of that video, Prince, if you want to.
Send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you again in the chat so you can see it.
Okay.
This is a video showcasing Angela Rye and Angela Yee's bullshit. Prince did a great job of narrating it. And it's very important for y'all to check this video out because it's going to remind y'all of how a lot of these feminists are full of shit. Male feminists included, because Charlamagne is a professed feminist.
Wow.
And again, I said earlier in the stream, all black people should speak freely, even the ones who are feminists. But I'm showing the ones who are hypocritical feminists. You can't say you're a quote unquote feminist, but you're doing shit like this. So we're about to roll the clip of these two feminists with this male feminist being full of shit.
You give me 1 second, Sam.
Oh no, yeah, take your time, Prince. Take your time. Because it's very important to call all these people out. Mr. Brown is correct. I've seen a lot of these people just be straight full of it. And I hope he do, even though with our constructive criticism of Joe Rogan, I hope Joe Rogan do get Brown. If you can have crazy ass, fat ass Alex Jones who was talking about dead kids on your show, you can have Mr. Brown on your show so he can speak freely some more.
That is true.
Because I feel like he should be able to have a platform where he could continue to reach more people.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it's only right.
It's only right. Let him. Come on, Joey. You had people who some Proud Boys and this that on your show. You let's have a campaign of so more eyes could even more eyes could be on Mr. Brown. He should be on the Joe Rogan show.
Come on, Joey Buttafuoco.
Yeah. Also, Tyler Bennett said hypocrisy is not a sign of guilt.
Absolutely. Shouts out to Tyler Bennett, one of
defending
our favorite.
his women.
This is America.
There y'all go. And that is a black man married to a white woman, and he's always supporting us. I'm joking. All right, so Sin, you want to go ahead and you want us to roll this footage?
Yeah,
correct?
it's the Angela Yee, the Yees.
The tale of two Angelas.
The tale of two Angelas.
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
White folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy
and they said they
specials.
took his channel.
Why does a bee
Florida.
make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Wow, so they took it. Well, there's a lot of powerful enemies, baby.
Where's the kaboom?
A lot of powerful enemies.
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering
They
kaboom.
took his channel?
I don't know. I still see it here.
Done.
But we'll see.
Maybe he has his VPN on.
tale of two Angelas. Angela Yee, 1/3 of the Breakfast Club trio and host of her own podcast, salaciously titled Lip Service. And then there's American attorney and CNN political commentator, Angela Rye. Both Angelas have been outspoken on women's issues in the past, and both Angelas have close ties to Charlamagne the God. And both women have been vocal in sharing their disdain and their disapproval for the culture of rape and misogyny. But what happens when a personal relationship is arbitrary to the diatribe you espouse publicly? What you get is a conflict of interest. Angela Yee on her podcast, Lip Service, has discussed many things such as sexually mature content, political issues, and women's rights. The Brooklyn, New York native began her career as an intern at Wu-Tang Management. It was there at Wu-Tang Management that Angela Yee began to understand the ins and outs of the business. Angela Yee even wrote all of the skits on GZA's second album, Beneath the Surface.
Look at Angela Yee. That is Angela Yee. Y'all know that's her, right?
Yeah, that's Angela Yee.
Motherfucker.
Angela Yee originally hosted Lip Service at The Morning After with Angela Yee on Eminem's radio station, Shade 45. In December of 2010, Angela Yee left Shade 45 and began hosting The Breakfast Club on Power 105.1 alongside DJ Envy and Charlamagne the God.
But I think it was also a little bit of uncertainty because all three of us have never worked together before. Right. You know, we still hadn't developed what our roles were going to be on the show. We all knew what our different personalities were, but we didn't know how it was going to gel or any of that. So I think when we first came here, it was kind of like okay, let's try this. I mean, we just listened to the audio from our first day.
We sucked.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But we thought we were good.
We thought we were good.
At the time.
Right.
The show had been advertised by having the ability to be candid and asking the tough questions that listeners wanted to hear, especially from artists, politicians, and other notable public figures.
What's the date of the Yeezy? That's what people want to know.
You know what Nike told me? You know what Nike told me when I asked them?
What's that?
We're not sure. That's what they told me.
I thought you controlled it.
That's my whole point.
All right, I get it.
And as the platform grew, each member began to showcase their personality. On the A mic, we had DJ Envy, who at times was unintentionally funny with his aloof questions and sometimes thoughtless remarks.
It'd be about my family members first, but if I could help Bobby, of course I would help.
How's he doing? You say you spoke to him. How's he doing?
He in jail, you know what I'm saying? Like a miniature hell.
He's not very happy.
Yeah. It's like he...
And what was labeled as the comedic relief in the room was supposed to be Charlamagne the God, whose sole purpose was to be shocking and say the most outlandish things when possible.
Y'all run trains? Oh, yeah.
Come on, Charlamagne!
Listen, we're not gonna act like these guys are not having sex, okay?
They're not having sex,
only
man.
14 years old.
And hours a day.
When conversations between Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy appeared to become a little bit too immature, it was a task of Angela Yee to reel the boys back in.
It's just them. She get dressed in front of y'all.
Hide in the closet, pop out
yes.
naked.
I have to say I'm disgusted at how Charlamagne
what?
these 14-year-olds.
I'm done with you, okay?
What's his name?
So name is Ray Ray.
Ray Ray's done with it.
Don't make me take off my belt, Ray Ray.
Charlamagne, you're not gonna do that to these.
No, I like these guys.
Okay.
You know.
It was during many occasions that Angela Yee wasted no time to play the mature role in the room. Quick to chastise not only her co-hosts, but also guests about the many issues facing women, and not only just women, but especially black women. Angela Yee would often shine her badge as a new sheriff in town as she corrected the wrongs of misogynist men in conversation and behavior whenever they set foot on her property known as the Breakfast Club. And right on schedule par for the course, as demanded by the handlers of the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee happily played her role as having to check the absurd behavior of the mentally delinquent Charlamagne the God as he made inappropriate jokes about gender, politics, and even rape.
I'm a bona fide creep.
Oh my
How do you turn somebody like Charlamagne down when he's like harassing you?
Somebody like Charlamagne? Look at the intensity in his face.
Listen, it's no turning me down.
He looks like he's very determined.
That's what date rape drugs are for. There's no such thing as turning me down. You be passed
the
out.
Determination in his face looks like it may turn into rape.
Date rape drug and determination.
But where Angela Yee serves as doorman and protector at times to Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club, on the Brilliant Idiots, there were no boundaries, there were no laws, there were no limits, and the absurdity in the humor of Charlamagne the God reached sadistic levels.
I keep telling y'all, I've told y'all this over and over, it's a lot of things that guys did, especially when we were young, that were rape, that we just didn't consider rape.
Can you pause that real quick?
I'm married to my wife.
Guys in the chat, have y'all done things that is considered rape? Because Charlamagne said most men have done rape things. As a black feminist, he said that he's basically saying most men are rapists. So I want to ask the men in the chat, have y'all drugged women and when they passed out had sexually assaulted them?
No, ma'am. We've only taken drugs together.
Matter of fact, let me ask Prince before you continue to press play. Prince, have you ever had sex with a woman who was that you drugged a woman and then she was out? Have you ever had sexually assaulted a woman?
No.
But a lot of the men in the chat are saying no as well.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, rape, not rape play against somebody's will.
According to Charlamagne, he says that most of y'all have. Wow. According to him.
Wow. Ooh, a little rough on the landing.
A bit rough.
A bit rough.
Can you continue, Prince?
That were rape, that we just didn't consider rape. And I'm married to my wife. Me and my wife dated for a whole year. She would not give me no pussy. Me and my wife hung out one Saturday night and she got sloppy drunk and passed out at my mama's house and I got that pussy. No! Yes, I mean, she was fucking me back and all that.
And like a dog, defecating in his owner's backyard and happily running back inside as if nothing happened, Charlamagne would routinely defecate in the backyard of the Brilliant Idiots with sadistic jokes about rape, misogyny, and even colorism, and then performing his given role on The Breakfast Club as if nothing had taken place. Angela Yee still ran her lip service podcast on the side as she continued on as co-host on The Breakfast Club. And it was there on lip service she continued to explore sexuality, femininity, and she would speak on issues pertaining to women and women asserting their power and even dealing with rape, which the podcast of lip service at its very core, in essence, is completely counter to that of The Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz. But even though The Brilliant Idiots in lip service contained explicit content, it was the alarming subject matter on The Brilliant Idiots and the routine gesturing in the space of rape and rape culture that kept eyebrows raised.
She's like, yo, are you sure I only had sex with you? Because one of my stupid ass cousins was going around saying he fucked her, which he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. I was there the whole time. He did not fuck her. I'm telling her, no, me and you just had sex. Nobody else did nothing. So it just was weird that she was like, well, I'm just glad it was you. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you could have been in a real bad situation if it was another motherfucker
That's a huge compliment, man. A girl just said, yo, at least you raped me.
And Charlamagne routinely told stories about when he was younger, 15 years ago, that half of the things he was doing, if not most, he had no idea it would have been classified as rape. He repeatedly told a story about a young lady being passed out at a party from apparently having something slipped in her drink. And Charlamagne has been on record several times as admitting that he did take advantage of the opportunity, and that when the lady awoke, that she somehow thanked him for being the only one.
So it just was weird that she was like, well, I'm just glad it was you.
It was because of this repetitious, inappropriate behavior and conversation that caused Jessica Reed to come forward and identify herself as that girl. When people ask Jessica Reed, either in comments on social media or even in interviews, why did you come forward now? She would state, it's to clear my name. And as a woman, co-host, friend, and associate of Charlamagne the God, and also a proponent for rape victims, Angela Yee only mildly addresses the Charlamagne the God and Jessica Reed debacle in a scripted approach on her segment known as The Rumor Report. And during her segment, the situation in itself, the accusation of rape, had all been dismissed as nothing more than entertainment and celebrity gossip. It was the handlers of the Breakfast Club's way of trying to quell any momentum and mounting pressure from social media of people asking and inquiring would the Breakfast Club address this issue of rape accusations against Charlamagne the God. And for the topic to be the subject of rape, Angela Yee was unusually passively quiet. When many times before, when certain guests would show up to be interviewed on The Breakfast Club, And if there was an accusation of sexism, misogyny, or even rape, Angela Yee would not hesitate to ask and even inquire, and on some occasions.
This is why I brought up Lakeith. Charlamagne brought up Lakeith Stanfield's rape case, which he never pleaded guilty or anything like that or whatever. So Lakeith could easily he could be innocent, but Charlamagne brought him up when he has this in his closet because he felt he could bully Lakeith Stanfield, just like they felt they could bully Mr. Brown, but unfortunately they were wrong. And someone brought up, Corey Holcomb has jokes about rape. He's an actual comedian, number one. And two, he don't have women coming out saying that, this man sexually assaulted me. Charlamagne did have a girl who was underage and now is an adult come out after him. So that's an ocean of a difference.
Yeah, it was an ocean of a difference, and we know black people can't swim. Anyway, do you want to continue saying?
Let's continue.
Even demand an answer. However, this time around, Angela Yee was quiet. And even as many women have called her to task on social media, whether we're talking about think pieces and other articles, Angela Yee has still remained silent. And many women have labeled her a hypocrite for doing so. But unlike Angela Yee's ice cold approach, Angela Rye, on the other hand, decided to play fire and directly engage with the public, and in several tweets online, aggressively defending Charlamagne the God, and even labeling Jessica Reed as that girl, and all the while proclaiming proudly in capital letters on social media, Charlamagne the God as her brother. And just like Angela Yee, Angela Rye has been a proud and loud advocate for women's rights.
And the bubble that I live in is one where sexual assault and rape culture is not okay. And that's a bubble that I never want to climb out of. I never want to get to a point where someone's words about harmful and offensive touching and groping are okay. They're not okay.
Known for her outlandish behavior during CNN panel discussions, from her signature eye roll to occasionally quoting Beyonce during political debates, the CNN segments with Angela Rye and Don Lemon became popular online with young Democrat voters.
I'm gonna do what you can't do, and that's just gonna be petty for a minute. Hi, girl.
And as a reoccurring guest on The Breakfast Club for political analysis, Angela Rye became a favorite, not only amongst Breakfast Club listeners, but more specifically black women. And with this understanding, Angela Rye played up her character routinely as the sassy woke black girl who would shut down her opponent at any time.
Say that she allowed him. She facilitated. No, she didn't. How did she facilitate it? No. Because it's not that. That's rape culture, Kaylee. You're blaming someone who succumbed to someone committing adultery.
Angela Rye even gained more national attention when video footage surfaced of the CNN correspondent becoming hysterical as a TSA agent began patting her down. Angela Rye participated in further panel discussions on different media platforms about her frustration of being violated not only as a citizen, but a woman of color. She would even begin to break down in tears. Some of her detractors accused her of being overly dramatic. After all, it wasn't exactly rape as someone stated. Nevertheless, a violation is a violation. And this is exactly what Angela Rye was championing for when she spoke about her experience when dealing with the TSA. And despite her detractors, many for the most part felt, at the very least, she's fairly considerate to the plight of survivors of not only rape, but molestation and other forms of violation against women. However, that was not the case once Jessica Reed shared her story publicly about Angela Rye's close friend, Charlamagne the God. Not only did Angela Rye deny those allegations on the behalf of her friend, but she became extremely antagonistic towards Jessica Reed by alluding to the fact that Jessica Reed may possibly be broke, even though that had not been proven. But she also stated in so many words that she would not allow for any woman to use her dear friend and brother, Charlamagne the God, as a way to come up and make some money by lying on his name. Given the fact that Angela Rye has a background in law, it was a bit puzzling to watch her immediately make an assessment and run with the assumption that her dear brother and friend, Charlamagne the God, is completely innocent. In fact, the only claim to back up her statement was that she read it in his best-selling book, Black Privilege, and and she demanded that all who are interested in the Jessica Reed and Charlamagne the God case, that they should read the same book as well. And just like a good friend, Angela Rye made sure she still promoted Charlamagne's book. Recently, his co-host on the Brilliant Idiots podcast has been noticeably silent as well. The YouTube channel that has housed many of the podcasts
Bring that white man in too.
has now been renamed.
Bring that white man in.
Idiots to simply Andrew Schultz. Could this be preemptive measures on behalf of Andrew Schultz to distance himself from the oncoming onslaught that may be headed Charlamagne the God's way? Whether if it's the evasive and silent approach of Angela Yee to the aggressively antagonistic stance of Angela Rye, one thing is for sure, the protection of industry peers such as Charlamagne is more important to both women than the possibility of the claim of rape by a black woman. At the end of the day, it is a hell of a gamble for both women.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Putting the house on a gamble.
Yeah, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Let me go ahead and switch up.
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's one of them things, folks.
Yeah, we may play the other one tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, it depends.
Depends, absolutely.
We may close out with the we may close out with the other one. Yeah. Skip through it so they can hear that R. Kelly portion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the R. Kelly thing, right? Well, I mean, look, folks. That's what we're saying about being reminded of Mama's cooking. It is a metaphorical analogy of saying, "Hey, man, we gotta bring you back down to where the ground is at." I would have never made those statements if I had that type of baggage that Charlamagne the God has in my closet. I don't. So I can talk freely, so can sin, but nonetheless.
Also, Andrew Strauss stood up for his friend Charlamagne. DNB, stop being in the closet. You could say you're a Schultz fan. He got some really good content. That's fine to say, but it doesn't change the fact, he did stand up for his friend. So let's stop the bullshit.
I mean,
Like, I think people get very sensitive.
Andrew has been eating off of that two-tone black man.
Yeah, people be getting sensitive. If you like certain people's music, if you like watching certain movies, who gives a fuck? It doesn't change the fact that Schultz supported his friend Charlamagne. Now, can we move on? It's the truth.
I mean, it's not us, William. It's not us, Just put out that information. I mean, y'all know how it is, All crimes, we've pretty much been saying what we've been saying for the longest. So, I mean, do appreciate everybody meeting us at the bus stop now.
Oh, someone said they still at work. We better drop that second video for them.
I don't know if you got the link. Oh, matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up.
No, I got the link for you. Also, can you showcase Tabby's Vanity one more time? Got to showcase Tabby's Vanity. Showcase black business and black owners. 100%. She be going down. She creates all her products from scratch. She's very brilliant and very creative.
Meet me at the mall.
It's going down.
Wherever.
It's going down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those you sew and I sew.
It's for all skin types. For Matt Barnes.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Matt Barnes.
To Steve Jackson.
To
both Charlamagnes, the light one and the dark one.
DJ Envy.
Drake.
Both Rise.
Right.
And it's also, of course, for dark-skinned black women too.
Absolutely.
Of course, Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. It is for all parties involved.
For Rory.
White people can buy it too.
Yeah.
Rory, you can buy it too.
Perfect.
But we're about to roll the last video for y'all as receipts. This one you should forward a little bit because I think this could have a little bit of copyright. Just show the parts of it where you show the R. Kelly segments that they try to scrub from the internet.
Also, follow Tabby's Vanity on Instagram too. Punch that in on Instagram. Y'all can follow her on Instagram.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious on her Instagram page as well, and she has a TikTok too. Tabby's Vanity.
Tabby TikToking with them brushes, not flip flopping like the rest of them. Yeah, man. Let me see something here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you.
Oh, okay. You want me to send it in the chat again?
Yeah.
Alright, put it in the chat again for you, so you can check it out.
Which one was this one?
This was the one that showed the Charlamagne's comment with R. Kelly.
Okay. All right then. All right, there we go. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin here. Also, people, by the way, you can go ahead and get those likes up before we decide to roll out, please. That keeps this particular live stream and broadcast, if you're going to be looking for it, within the algorithm.
Absolutely, and also we're getting made Mikey more hidden? Let me go back to y'all already started trouble with each other in the chat, and I gotta scroll all the way up to hide Mikey more. Let me see.
See, give me the name of that video.
Oh, I just sent it to you in the chat.
No, when I put it in that way, it shows up as unavailable.
Oh, okay. It's Charlamagne, the monster in the closet.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag thought crimes.
Swiss beats the monster. But anyway, y'all making Mikey more hidden.
No, it could have been a spam account.
How did Mikey Moore feel about your boy LeBron James?
He's still in the playoffs. I bet you the Clippers gonna get knocked out again, and then even if the Lakers don't make it to the finals, if I see the Clippers get knocked out, I'm gonna make fun of Mikey.
Shouts out to Mikey.
Like I did last time when when Lakers made it all the way.
All right, here. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna play a little bit of this. Let's see here what we had.
Docuseries Charlamagne the God was notably absent that day.
So I can rewind this, right?
Was accepting calls and discussing the surviving R. Kelly docuseries.
Right there.
Could it be that many of the handlers that have been observing what has been taking place on social media have been paying attention to the fact that Black Twitter, specifically Black women, have been critical of the fact that Charlamagne the God was featured in a docuseries about surviving R. Kelly and the rape victims of R. Kelly, given the fact that Charlamagne the God has a possible rape victim accusing him of doing the same thing. And there was actually a few Black women on Twitter who actually addressed the producer of the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, Dream Hampton. Dream Hampton simply responded that she was unaware of the accusations against Charlamagne the God and regrets placing him in the docuseries, which only gives validation to the concerns and criticism of many of the Black women who had watched Surviving R. Kelly. So in an eager attempt to further the rebranding of himself, Charlamagne the God jumped a bit too early, prematurely, and placed himself in the docuseries of Surviving R. Kelly, and allowing himself to become an open target. Rather than being seen as a champion for rape victims, he actually had been seen as quite the opposite, someone of similar disgusting energy among the likes of R. Kelly, simply because of Charlamagne's history. Again, the rebranding of Charlamagne is very important, which is very key for his survival in the industry. Because of many of the atrocious things he has said publicly and also outlandish acts, particularly towards women, especially towards Black women, Charlamagne, as they say in the Twitter streets, had already been on the radar. In his attempt to secure the bag in Black girl magic space, Charlamagne may have shot himself in the foot. Now, old damaging tweets are resurfacing, showing that Charlamagne was very much so in support of the R. Kelly tapes. In fact, he referenced teen vagina as some sort of fountain of youth for R. Kelly, and because of the iffy industry of radio, Hot 97 and Power 105 have been locked in a heated competition for quite some time. But given the fact that a variety of personalities has been seen as more likable by way of the Breakfast Club, it is very
we're showing this because of ugly ass Christy Teigen, who is a foul human being, can get her ass tapped for disrespecting that young white girl who was put in sex trafficking by her parents and bought by an older man. Receipts can be brought up about Charlamagne as well.
I'm going to go on record and say I told Christy Teigen is one of the ugliest. This is a very ugly, crooked-faced woman. That face is sitting sideways like Paul Wild.
I don't know what.
Shouts out to the 713.
I don't know what John Legend was thinking.
It looks like he found a less than ordinary person.
important for them to try to hold on to Charlamagne the God, which is why protection has been forecasted for Charlamagne, with certain key topics specifically hovering around the discussion of rape. Charlamagne is notably missing. DJ Envy and Angela Yee do not necessarily have the personality to carry on the show, if the likes of Charlamagne the God was to fall, which is why you see the industry shaking things up and trying to move him around for protection. One could even say maybe that's why he appeared in the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries and attempting to appear non-threatening, especially to black women, giving Charlamagne's notably chaotic history with his mouth and his actions in the space of black women. What is also equally interesting is some of his known associates, such as Angela Rye and also Amanda Seales, both vocal womanists who have stated on record they highly oppose a rape culture, misogyny, misogynoir, and any form of abuse against women and little girls, especially black women and black girls. And given the history that is now resurfacing, whatnot with the likes of Jessica Reed, and also the troubling tweets praising R. Kelly's performance, and also video footage resurfacing from his Brilliant Idiots podcast showing Charlamagne the God praising allegedly R. Kelly on those films, raping and assaulting young black girls.
Number one, he taught me how to eat ass.
Shout out to Kelly.
I learned how to eat ass because of the R. Kelly tape.
That's true.
And the Come Pee Come thing is still one of the most
legendary,
incredible things I've ever seen in my life. I just, because I still don't understand how a man could come and then pee right after coming and then come again. That happened.
Wait, that happened?
He busted a nut on this little 14-year-old girl. Then he peed on me, like it was like the sperm came out, pee came out, sperm came out again. And he told her, let it drip.
Liquid sandwich, bro.
I've never seen no shit like that in my life.
Jesus.
Completely arbitrary and counter to the message that he forecasted during his appearance in the Surviving R. Kelly series. And many black women online are not only calling out the likes of R. Kelly, as they have done with Dream Hampton, of course she did apologize, but they are also calling out Angela Rye and Amanda Seales as well, and seeing, are they going to keep the same energy?
On a 14-year-old girl, they were doing that bro talk, frat boy talk on a 14-year-old girl. Oh, it's still more?
No, I think that's the other stuff.
Oh, wait, let's see.
Well, you know, some of that material, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, pause it. No, you're right.
Some
Pause.
of that material.
You're right.
There we go.
Get his ugly ass off the screen, too, yeah.
Well, folks, I mean, the rabbit hole is deep.
Do you want the red pill, or do you want the blue pill?
Yes, Neil. Look at Melfish trying to drug a white boy. Yes, Neil.
That was very pervy. So they were doing frat boy humor like on a 14-year-old girl. That's disgusting.
Well,
very
again,
cringy.
I mean, this is the part about being arrogant. This is the part about being a corporatist. You assume that the corporation is going to protect you.
Just mind your fucking business. How you get this shit in your closet and y'all don't understand? Shut up and mind your business.
Mind your business. You shut the fuck up and you shut the fuck up and you shut the fuck up. That's what you do.
Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Here's what was crazy. Here's what was very interesting about Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne the God, every time on the Breakfast Club when they referenced what was going on between the throuple divorce between Joe Budden and Rory and Mal, Charlamagne remained silent. Every time they brought up Envy, kind of poked at him. What do you got anything to say, Charlamagne? No, nothing. Just promote Tamika Mallory's new book, State of Emergency, boom, 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 boom. Every time they bring it up, Charlamagne didn't say nothing. Now, the time that he should not have spoken is the time he ran his mouth. It was Kwame Brown. He actually should have ranted on Joey, kept the Breakfast Club more interesting in that space, and didn't have to worry about possible contracts or re-emerging issues pertaining to alleged rape victims resurfacing. And just because your friendship with Joey is already over, it's already kaput, right? It was already out there. But the one time you really should have been quiet was during the Kwame Brown situation.
Yeah, you shouldn't have touched on it, and nobody will be touching on this again. It's not wise to go after people when you got this type of shit.
Yes.
In your closet. It just isn't wise. And then also just to tap at John Legend real quick. John Legend, you went after Kanye West.
Yeah.
But your own bitch, and I'm calling her bitch. I'm not even saying white. I'm calling her bitch because you went after, told a young girl who was being sex trafficked and was married off to a 50-year-old man to go kill yourself.
Bars.
This girl already had surgery because you saw they inflated her breasts and shit. A teenage girl sex trafficked by her parents, and you told this young girl to go kill herself. John Legend, you have lost any right to judge anybody.
John Legend, sink into the floor.
Sink into the floor.
Wait. Take your piano with you.
We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go.
Hey, it's slow.
Now you're in a sunken place.
Okay, but also it does show, even with John Legend's way of thinking, of him not addressing this publicly, it shows that he also is staying true to the same formula, that of Charlamagne the God, Matt Barnes, and of course, the legendary Crip nigga himself, Matthew Barnes. And that is it, folks. People talking about code, they are on code with each other.
Yeah, it's like they tried to protect That's why everybody go to the truth. Anybody who's been demonized or subjugated, Brown, like he showed, come tell the truth, because isn't Chris Teigen, whatever her name is, hasn't she been associated with Jeffrey Epstein as well?
Yeah, allegedly. That is, folks. That is an ugly, small chin woman. Look like a little gerbil.
Also, guys, we only talk about people's wives when they've been associated with trying to tell teenage girls to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Of any race.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's why I said I question Stephen A. Smith. That is another man's wife. Steph Curry is another man's wife. She is with someone else, but that lady is far from ugly. I don't think I would ever hear Stephen A. Smith go out of his space and do that to other people. That was personal. And here's my thing about what I'm saying about Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has ran around here and just a fucking narcissist.
I'm always right.
Yeah, so
Donald Trump. And again, I can't co-sign Donald Trump because he got things in his closet too, but
she's like that hair she wears?
Yeah.
It just looks like her hair looks like a smelly, wet chihuahua, and looks like the dog's name is Shitucky.
Yeah, but it's like, don't talk shit about Donald Trump when you're alleged of similar things as him. You've been alleged with messing with underage girls. You've been alleged with
Do we got to look at John Legend?
What's
going on over there?
People. Can we please have people who have not allegedly touched children be able to speak about decorum? All these other vanity hoes who come out here talking about freedom of speech or decorum, can we please have people who haven't touched children to talk?
Right, folks. How you feeling, Sam?
I'm feeling good, man. I really enjoyed this stream just to get it out there.
It's been a minute since we went over the 2-hour mark.
Yes, it's been a while,
It's been a minute.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. It's been very boring to us. The reason why we haven't been putting out this year or even last year consistently is like, it's been boring to us. You can't even really say how you feel, how you see things. Then all these black gatekeepers cease and desist, and then
these biters, haters, non-innovators.
Then you go ahead, non-innovators. Go ahead, biters. Go ahead, Prince.
I agree with you. You know me. I'm just, you know what I enjoy. That's why when I looked at Kwame Brown, I said,
fresh year.
Let me go see. Let me go see if I got any extra relatives in Georgia. Look, and this is my thing about, because out of respect, I don't say certain people's names because of what we've agreed to behind the scenes. We've had disagreements, and I did honor my word about things not going public. However, though, notable individuals within the podcast space, within the streaming space, have deals, even with Charlamagne's network, right? Have deals with Spotify, right? They had been behind the scenes quietly uncomfortable with our energy. And I did say this, I was very honest. This is what, whether it's a Sin or Prince Solomon, our energy does show up with everyday black folk who happen to have public notoriety but don't say shit, i.e. Kwame Brown. Now, this is somebody that does not fuck around on the microphone, doesn't have a podcast, but can shift the planet when he feels like it. And I always say the reason why people are noticeably scared of people who have that energy in the microphone, it's kind of easier to move away from them. Okay, well, I mean, we can be cool, but guys, y'all know some of the stuff y'all say, I have relations with certain people. And then we were sitting there, we're like, we're cool, whatever. We're not crybabies. But I always say this, that energy exists regardless, black people on the microphone. You can play this game all you want. You guys can distill it. You guys can take out all of the flavor, the seasoning, and try to water that Kool-Aid down as much as possible. One of y'all are going to knock over a bowl of sugar. All right? And Kwame Brown is lighting everybody up. Because one thing you forgot, when you're always running away from the energy, that means also you can't recognize it when you're running into the damn energy. So some of you niggas who are connected to some of these niggas that are being talked about was so busy running away from energy, even talking with us behind the scenes. Oh, we can't be with y'all. We can't talk to y'all. We can't. Oh, well, y'all know how y'all can be. Y'all. And some of y'all dumb niggas ran right into that same energy you was running from with us. But this nigga, he is a big bear. And he got history in the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, it don't matter. Let me give you an example. Dennis Rodman, a former NBA alumni, sat there in front of Charlamagne the God and said, I'm sorry, and who are you? There are athletic niggas, whether they have been a celebrated career or not. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is one of the largest global platforms. We just have here, Kwame Brown is one of the first rogue niggas from the NBA. That means his platform, regardless of how you feel about the nigga, it's larger than all you other niggas on the microphone that have ran away from that energy all of your lives. And your dumbasses ran right into it. That's all I got to say on that note. All right?
I agree. I just love this fiery energy. I love the truth telling. I love speaking freely. These type of streams is what makes us enjoy doing this. As long, of course, we are creative, so we have, our animations and stuff. But so many hacks, known and unknown, have come after us, to stalkerish fans, to people like Big Back, what's that fat nigga, David Banner.
Oh yeah, hog butt. We
had the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne, because he used to be a fan of it. We got the receipts too of the watch time, where he used to watch a show in 2016-17, took mayo from us, took our Taylor Swift joke and did his own thing with it, and whatever. Sometimes you don't know if it's just somebody who just loving what you're doing or somebody who's just biting. But I'll tell you this, a lot of these boule gatekeepers or whatever you call them, they always use white resources to steal from other black people. And let's not forget that there are a lot of thieves who are black. It's not just white people.
I really would say that. You know what, Sin? I am a liar. Sin, I am a liar, sweetie. I said I was leaving out of the kitchen. I came back for a second plate, baby.
Go ahead, get some of that mama's cooking.
Let me tell you this, too. One thing about Sin and I, despite what people may have said, we always say we're going to stay true to integrity. This shit we don't say. And because of that, folks, I always say this, that energy comes back around. If I'm one of these people and I'm always trying to sit, quote unquote, real folk out the room, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. At some point I'm going to get arrogance in. Because I've always been canceling real niggas, and I had the authority to cancel real niggas to the point where my mouth going to land on a real nigga's backside. And I'm going to get tore up publicly. Because I've been so busy running away from the energy that now I'm unfamiliar with it. Now, common sense should have told you, number one, well, I got a lot of shit in my closet. I didn't wrote all of these Speak Your Truth books. I got a lot of shit in my closet.
I got a lot of shit on the line.
I got a lot of shit, so let me shut the fuck up.
Let me shut up and be quiet.
Right? But no, the arrogance, because again, the fake cannot recognize the real. That is a universal fact. So again, a lot of these niggas and these friends of a niggas and these associates of a nigga, I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick. A lot of these motherfuckers are bitches behind the scenes. A lot of them are fake. A lot of them are scary. That energy you saw with Steve Jackson talking about, I had to smoke for KWAME. I want to fight niggas. Y'all know how I get down. But you saw what he was like in front of Jeannie Buss. Before we even get into anything with Kwame Brown or anybody or whoever say any of the commentators online, all you got to do is look at where his planets were shifted in front of Jeannie Buss. And then tried to smirk and throw another black person on the... So, player, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't see many people get their ass tore up in the middle of the street, across the street, or in front of the mailbox. I have participated in it. It has never happened to me. You know why? Because I recognize real energy. And I look to keep integrity with this type of stuff. Thought Crimes didn't have to say anything, folks. We told people, we says, hey, Saturn return, niggas.
Oh, it's just in the fates for us. There was a lot of black gatekeepers who kind of shadowy was watching us and trying to see if we would go their way of going corporate. Because we're capitalists. We don't have a problem with transfersism, actually. We just don't like when people choose corporatism over fresh water, over keeping our oceans clean. And again, water is a necessity of life, so bottled water. There's a lot of weird things people do for money and corporatism. Crony capitalism and consumerism, I don't fuck with that. There are certain things that aren't for profit, but I do believe in pure capitalism where people start their own brands and businesses. But with some of these things these people are doing is just way out of pocket. Also, just want to let everybody know, Tabby gave us great news. Our viewers have a $5 discount code when they go over there and support and purchase over $25 of products from Tabby's Vanity when it comes to the body butters only, and she has amazing body butters that
TC code, that TC500.
Yep, TC500.
Okay, Tabby, I see what you did there. Shouts out to Tabby. She put a TC5. Go ahead and put that lady on the screen.
TC500. So we got that pinned at the top. I'm also gonna put it at the top of our in our information box as well at the top, so everybody can see that as well and support her, a black woman doing her thing, being an entrepreneur.
Shouts out to 9 Mile Players. He says here, Prince, my brother, always stay quiet. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll make this vouch too, except for anybody who has been proven to be a pedo. I'm sorry, I can't fuck with that. But at least I will vow, because I don't want to throw person there unless he agrees with it. But I will vow not to ever try to get a black person fired or throw them under the bus because of their opinions or sexuality. They're supporting themselves, they're supporting their black children, their family, and their relatives or whatever. I don't care LGBTQ, I don't care conservative, whatever. I'm not in the business of taking food out of other black people's mouths like these gatekeepers. So what your opinion is, if we disagree, if we make fun of that, that's different. But I never be somebody who wants a black person to be out and all that other weird shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I mean, what you said is fair. It's definitely fair. And folks, look, keep this in mind. Make this clear concerning Charlamagne, right? Okay. Charlamagne did go through a case. He pled guilty, allegedly. I think from what I understand in research, he got 3 years of probation, right? Whatever. My thing is this with Charlamagne, and this is a very Charlamagne literally has Saturn on his backside. He's always being reminded. Wait a minute, you can't talk, nigga. Neither the light or the dark side, because every time you do, this happens. So anything pertaining to him in that space, if he continues to press, and I hate to tell you, player, but if people continue to move hard enough, you can be moved. And that goes for anybody. Which is why you see Steve Jackson and Matt Barnes quieting down. And one thing KWAME said that was very smart. He said, you're the stupid one with the podcast. How real can you get with that contract with me without losing it? Now, what you're going to do, is it going to be your pride or is it going to be your job? Mm-hmm. And that's the $1 trillion question. Which one is it? And I'm sure Matt Burns and Steve Jackson, they're going to be quiet and act like nothing's going on while they're getting cooked. Just let it burn through. That's what Charlamagne has been doing.
Let it burn. Let it burn. Gotta let it burn.
They say Usher. Does Usher? They say he got another album coming out, right?
I'm gonna cop it.
You copping it?
If it's good, I like Usher as a singer.
He does his thing.
I think that you should let it burn. He's better than Justin Timberlake, but that's not hard to be, you know.
Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber?
He's better than Justin Bieber too, although it is as fuck that we know of a Justin Bieber.
Yo, you all have been fantastic. For the most part, yes, we got some things off our chest because Kwame Brown has the energy that, y'all rock with us for a long time. We've pretty much been comfortable in that space. And we figured there's some niggas around there, somebody, that thinks like that. And shouts out to Kwame Brown for defending himself after being defamed for 20 years. As a young 17-year-old coming into the league, making sure his mama cannot be on the street, which he was happy to do. And to be honest with you, even though Kwame struggled in his career, and I'm going to be honest with you, what the fuck can a 17-year-old nigga do after being barked on by Michael Jeffrey Jordan? At that point, it's like, talk about spirit breaking.
But I also think that he had a lot of perseverance and he had a good career for a basketball player. There's a lot of basketball players that don't even have 10 years in the game. So he did
13 years.
13 years,
yeah,
even
13.
better. You can't do that many years and be a scrub or a bum. So shout out to him. He was able to fight through and persevere through all the psychological abuse. And, to me, he came out a winner.
You can't laugh at a nigga for living. And if he out there in Georgia, then the cost of living is cheaper too. Maybe that's why some of these other niggas on the left coast and the white coast, they got to tap dance because that cost of living is a little bit too high. Maybe you can get out there to Texas, Georgia, buy some land out there in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Y'all know what it is. So you got anything else, wonderful queen, that you want to impart upon the public with your beautiful knowledge?
Just last time, Tabby's Vanity, support her. She's an entrepreneur.
Remember that code she said, TC500.
TC500. You get a discount.
Absolutely.
If you spend $25 or more.
Right.
For the body butters only.
Yeah.
That's where the discount is for TC500.
All right. Shouts out to it's a Queen Tabby. There you go, sister, black woman. That business.
And two other people we have to give a shout out to real quick before we close out is Be More and VESTA.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
We love and appreciate y'all, and they will be coming out with their content with Taurus Rising.
Absolutely. Shouts out to Be More and VESTA. Don't we have a rendezvous with them tomorrow?
Yes, and on Patreon.
Oh man, y'all, we're gonna have Be More Invested. They definitely gonna be breaking. They're gonna go into the esoteric space with all of this.
Oh, with Chrissy Teigen, we got a lot of we're gonna probably be in there for the whole 4 hours.
It's gonna be there.
I saw the check, nigga.
Let me drop the link for that too. No, you keep going, Prince.
Deliberation Dolphin. Now, if you all this is us wrapping up with some of the comments before we jump up out of here. It's kind of like the church. Y'all know how when it's time to leave the church and your parents kind of like shaking hands, oh sister share, well, I love you. That's so shame what happened to Paul, So that's where we at right now at this part of the stream. Deliberation Dolphin says, Prince, anything on Side the Prince? No, other than his gap tooth survive attempted being killed. I don't know what happened there. Definitely don't wish any death on anybody. And it's good that he survived. There's some things I've disagreed with Sahai the Prince, but overall he is a spectacular lyricist. But yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. What else? That's it?
Oh, no. I'm about to put in the link, the crowdcast.
It cracks me up. Sometimes she just stands up randomly and stretches. She's like, in work today. All right, see. Let's see here. What else? Chrissy Teigen is the most beautiful woman in the world. Oh,
somebody's lying.
That's hood mentality. Now, if you have a hood mentality, she is the most beautiful woman in the world.
The hood mentality is a crippling disease.
All right, here. Tyler Bennett, you rarely have typos. Do you mean the NOI? Because you got NIO. Let's see here. It says y'all mad stupid. Shouts out to Tyler Bennett. We love you, player. Also, let's see here. What else? ASAP Rocky. Shouts out to ASAP Rocky. Talk about a come up. I think him and Rihanna, they make the perfect, fashionista couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see him with his kilt on? His little kilt? So shouts out to him. Treyway.
Send y'all this link so y'all can support this crowdcast as well tomorrow at 9 o'clock p. Oh, today, I mean, it's 1 in the morning. Tonight.
We told y'all we was going to end up going to overdrive.
And tonight.
They call them Pisces passive aggressive fish.
Well, it depends on what the rising and some other stuff is. But now that I put the link in, we could wrap it up, Prince. We love y'all. We enjoyed all y'all. Peace out.
Fucking life! Not all the teeny niggas hoes, you gotta keep them out your business. To this day! To this day!
Turn your back on me. Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
White folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?